We had a nice raid the other day.
Very good.
No, it was terrible. It was dumb.
It was terrible.
It was kids. It was like kids.
Oh,
we're probably
goodness.
live. It was like Groiper kids calling in before that. I wouldn't say terrible. They don't have that much power over me, but it was annoying. We had like 10 calls before we even started the show. And the first guy was someone with a fake Indian accent.
Annoying for sure.
Guys, actually, that was the intro song. That's what you don't know. All of that was all scripted. It was a song. Hey, it was in the key of G. You couldn't tell? You can just bring us on air. We don't have to. You just do it. I probably want my backlights on.
My thing is frozen again. It's doing that thing.
Oh, shit. So we just got to wait for it to stop freezing?
Yeah, last
really
one it
weird.
only took like 2 minutes.
We got to figure out what's doing that.
Only 2 minutes.
It did this
I gotta recover
a while
logs
ago,
or some shit.
And I can't remember what fixed it, but I'm pretty sure you changed something and it got fixed.
Yeah, I do remember that there was an issue in the past, but I don't remember what it was either. Welcome, everybody, to Calling It Now. First thing you're going to do, if you're already here because you're a badass, you're going to double-click the screen so that you can throw down a like. Because if we were to be able to get of the 150 of you who are already here to hit like, that's going to put us in more algorithms and more places. It's going to expose us to more people and give us a higher probability of more calls. MAGA, we want to talk to you. Do you have any banners that you find work better? Like this thing that's below us, or below you, above me. Anything where you're like, you know what gets them to come to the yard? I feel like they're starting to peek their head out again a little bit. They definitely were hiding there for a minute. They're starting to peek a little bit again because they're back to like, I don't know. I don't even know why they're doing it. Maybe they think we've just forgotten the whole, like, we're in a war that they promised we wouldn't go into.
Oh, they've definitely forgotten that. Sometimes calling him a rapist works.
Trump is, you're saying go hard with it.
Sometimes it works. Like, not always. It doesn't always work, though.
I don't know whether copying a link, I think if you hit the share button, it counts a little bit. I think you have to hit that and then click copy link. Somebody was asking whether or not that helps with sharing. Yeah, definitely share this out. Look, MAGA, we want to talk to you guys. We want to hear you out. We want to hear, why should we be on Trump's side? Why should we be on MAGA side? What is it that you think is so good about these entities? And if you can call in and explain it to us and explain to us why we should change, you have the phone number right there. It is 336-543-2101. 336-543-2101. And we'll talk to you. We'll hear you out. We'll hear what you got to say. We've already got somebody waiting. They're getting processed and screened. Well, kind of. It's somebody we've already talked to.
I haven't checked it out yet.
Calling on Sunday to make a claim about something being treason. Didn't know the definition of the word treason. That kind of stuff. I'm honestly not that excited about this call. In fact, I think at the end of the call, I told them, hold him because of some of his positions. It wasn't the one who defended. We had a guy on Sunday literally say he's not going to hold being a pedophile against Donald Trump because his grandpa was a pedophile. Because his grandpa, your video has frozen. If you toggle it on and off, I don't know why. We're having all kinds of weird things happening. I'm gonna have to look into these.
I like how I just get frozen.
Yeah, at least you look deep in thought. I think if you just toggle video on and off, it should help. But, goodness, it didn't. It is. We're just, I guess, waiting for. Oh, maybe
now to try it on
Zoom. I think if you toggle video on and off is the way that fixes it. I think.
There we go. Maybe? I'm alive again.
All right, good. Okay.
At least I didn't. Yeah. At least it wasn't a bad one.
So we had a guy call in who basically said, like, his grandpa started at 25, married a 12-year-old, his grandma, and started having kids. And so that was the norm, and he's not going to hold it against Trump for being a pedophile, essentially because he's a descendant of a pedophile. Crazy talk. I mean, just the people who are calling in, and I just think MAGA, you must have better than this. You must have better than the guy who's not going to hold it against him for being a pedophile. Anyway, you should call in if you do. 7206 or 720-619-2288 is our other phone number. That's the one for the line. 336-543-2101 is the one you should call. I've got them both stuck in my head.
Yeah, I mean, at least you remember them. That's always a good thing.
Yeah, there's multiple. And we're going to have another one still, because we're going to be launching an additional channel here very soon as well.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting. We're going to have a channel dedicated to the debates that will not be call-in show debates, though there might be a call-in element for the Q&A sections or the town hall style ones. Anyway, yay, welcome to the people from Chewed Gum. Remember, there's 585 of you. If you'll double-click the screen right now or hit the like manually, you can go ahead and hit like, and that is going to increase the odds that we're going to be able to get good callers. Until then, here's a repeat caller. We've got Brian from Florida. Brian from Florida, you're on the line with Ari and Jimmy.
How's it going, Ari and Jimmy?
And Brian, remind me how old you are?
39.
One more time. You broke out there.
39.
39 years old. MAGA voter. Called in last time thinking that, but this time's abortion. Last time you thought that allowing immigrants to come in and be represented in the House was treasonous, but this time it's abortion is murder is what you're calling in on. Yeah. All right, well, that's what you're calling it on. Abortion is murder. I say it's not.
Okay, good talk.
Cool.
I'm glad we solved that one.
Mm-hmm.
No, I mean, I believe that there's an interesting parallel between the views of a woman saying that she can do with her body what she pleases, the same way that a slave owner said, I can do with my slave what I please.
Sure, that's adorable, but Brian,
parallel.
that's sort of a side thing. You're here to contend that abortion is murder, and I'm saying it's not. So are you going to defend that it in fact is? That is your proposition.
Yeah, I think if you know that a baby is being killed, it's murder. I think for a lot of women,
I reject using the terminology baby, but it wouldn't matter anyway. It matters whether or not it is a human being, and we have definitions for human being / personhood, and it isn't simply just a thing which is alive that has human DNA. Do you believe it's murder when an individual is taken off life support?
Only if it was done intentionally to kill them.
Yes. Let's say you have a person who is brain dead and the machines are the only things running the fact that they are technically alive. Is it murder to end their life support?
It would be, but there's the difference.
No, it wouldn't be. It literally isn't. We're not talking about your opinion. We're talking about, is it? Legally, is it? It isn't. Murder is the unjustified killing of a human being, not of a living thing, of a human being. So as far as a brain dead individual goes, whether an individual is actually a human being is sort of the operative word. And so what is a human being? And clearly it is not just a Homo sapien that is technically breathing, that body is technically alive, but something that is experiencing, that has some level of sentience. So if you have no brain, or in effect no brain activity, you have no set of experience, it can't be murder just because you have the potential to one day have experience, because you aren't having experience then. Lots of things have the potential to have eventual human experience. So once again, we're not talking about, is it your opinion that it should be murder? Murder is a thing. An abortion isn't a murder.
I think for a lot of folks, if someone knows that they're doing it out of personal financial convenience and that they're killing a life, I think that's murder. For a lot of people, they've been tricked.
So do you believe that if you eat a leaf out of financial convenience, that's murder?
If I eat no.
Well, leaves are alive, and you said if it's a life that you are ending out of convenience, that's murder. This is what I'm saying. This is what happened the other day. You called in with ill-defined things. Whether it is
Well,
alive doesn't matter at all. It is whether life will be one of the prerequisites. You're not going to have a sentient individual without life unless you're a Christian. You think those exist, like that there are souls and shit like that that have nothing to do with whether you have a body. But that's where, that's a totally different conspiracy theory for another day. Your brain and this we're obviously talking about those like pre-20 week abortions. So once again, we're just on the element. We're not even on, of course, if you want to get into what women are allowed to do with their body and stuff, certainly you even have a woman here, but that's not what this is about. Your assertion is that abortion is murder, and you have yet to demonstrate that it is murder.
Well, I think there's a human life. It is being intentionally ended, I think, for a lot of times, financial benefit. And I think that's wrong. And I think a good percentage of the abortions that are taking place, maybe not every single one, but I think the intent of the individual, and I think a lot of women have been tricked into this, and I don't think they're guilty of murder. I think it's a
Then you don't think it's murder
situation.
Yeah, if they're not guilty of murder, it can't be murder.
And once again, you used a word that isn't true. A human, a Homo sapien life is different than a human being. A human being has achieved personhood. Personhood requires sentience. This is why it is not murder to end the life of a brain dead human, because there is no experiencing being. There is no sentience to it. And similarly, with abortion, the overwhelming majority of abortions that happen to unwanted pregnancies happen long before sentience is achieved. In fact, when it comes to late-term abortions, which other people would like to make illegal, late-term abortions happen almost completely not to unwanted children, to wanted children. Almost all late-term abortions happen to children that actually the parents wanted to give birth to, wanted to have in their family, but couldn't because of something, whether it is an act of mercy because the child is going to be born without kidneys, thereby have all the blood back up into their lungs and are going to drown on their own blood on the table, or it is something that's going to endanger the life of the mother, or the baby has already passed away and they are essentially just delivering a dead child. There are tons of reasons why late-term abortions happen, and they almost universally happen as tragedies because those babies were wanted. But the fetuses in most abortions of unwanted children happen long before sentience. So you only believe that those things should be protected, despite the fact that they aren't meaningfully more a human being than an individual sperm or egg or zygote or embryo. They've got the beginner structures of brains, but the brain hasn't kicked on. They aren't experiencing anything. So you're basically, Brian, a person who faces no threat of pregnancy, but because of your probably religious beliefs, but preconceived notions and non-understanding of embryology, you feel like those Homo sapien lives should be granted human being status, and you haven't given us a good reason why. So why, Brian, should an individual, prior to their brain achieving any level of sentience, prior to their ability to observe, conservative non-believer in the chat, literally the easiest question we've answered a bunch of times before, and you're welcome to call and pose it. So easy to answer. Anyway, Brian, why, prior to sentience being achieved, should a Homo sapien life, which includes, by the way, placentas, your placenta is a genetic twin, living twin to a baby, and includes sperm and eggs, why prior to that should we give them the basically philosophical designation of this is a human being, not merely a Homo sapien life?
They're a human being in the same way that others that don't have intelligence or awareness or independence are also human beings.
So in other words, they're human beings in that they're not. Say your whole thing again, Brian. They're human beings in the sense of what?
Well, we don't base rights and humanity based on intelligence or awareness or independence.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
No, we don't.
Yes, we do.
Okay,
yes, we
so
absolutely, Brian, do.
we base
Whether or
rights on
not
intelligence?
awareness is present and whether or not intelligence is present. We don't base it on IQ score. A person who is has an IQ that you could estimate is in the 30s or the 40s is still not zero. So they are extended human beings. But yes, absolutely, we grant humanity and the status of being a human being to the presence of awareness, to the presence of intelligence, regardless of whether or not we think they're as smart as other people. Hence the prior example of nowhere in America is it considered a murder or evil to pull the plug on a brain dead Homo sapien life. If it doesn't matter if they're 20 or 100 years old, if the brain has ceased functioning, they are dead in every way except for that machines are keeping them breathing, their blood pumping, that the organ functions are still going, but they aren't thinking, they aren't experiencing. It is not considered at all mercy. In fact, by most people, it's considered kind of a relief because now you're not dedicating those resources to keeping something alive that isn't a human being. So you are incorrect. We 100%.
In a coma.
We 100%. We 100%, Brian. A coma is not the same as brain death. A coma suggests that the brain is still there and functioning. And in some places, correct, brain death. The brain is not dead if you are merely in a coma.
Right.
And you have the potential to come out of the coma. So it's in the same way that at night when you go to sleep, there's a period of time where you're also not experiencing because of the guarantee you will come back online and it will be a continuation of, we're not saying it's okay to abort you then, but you need having the experience before and at minimum the potential for the experience after, though we also don't really cast judgment on people who, with certain elements of coma their brain is so diminished at this point and they are so close to non-experiencing, we're actually fine with pulling the plug here too, like happened in the case of Terry Schiavo.
1 second.
No worries. Sorry, I'm kind of monopolizing. So Brian, you're once again calling in using words you don't understand the definitions of, terms you don't understand.
Well, every single cell in that baby is unique DNA created from the moment of conception.
So what? So what?
Because that's a human being.
No, that's not what makes them a human being. Sentience is what makes them a human being.
Live or die. You don't get to decide if something lives or dies. You don't have that judgment.
I do.
That's not a very healthy way to look at things.
I decide whether lots of things live or die every day. Bugs, the food I eat, and then when it comes to a human being,
people aren't bugs.
Literally Homo sapiens are basically allowed to decide to kill almost anything. We have animal cruelty laws, but that's actually more about how you treat the animal when they're alive. You can pretty much kill your pets too under a lot of conditions and it not be considered cruelty. Yeah, Christy Nome indeed.
R.I.P.
So yes,
cricket.
in fact, I do in America am extended the right to decide what lives and dies. And then when it comes to humans, whether they have achieved, again, you're just repeating, showing. Here's what I know about you, Brian, and I mentioned this to another caller the last show. I know that, Brian, I could show up in any group of people that are on your side, and I could pretend to be one of them, and no one would detect me. In fact, I could convince a group of your people to let me represent them, because not only would I be able to debate all of your side, I'd be able to debate your side so well and more articulately than your people do that they'd want to make me their leader. And here's what I know about you, Brian. You would look like Matt Walsh at the DNC because you come in using terms you don't know what they mean, making philosophical assertions. And I'm sorry, Brian, despite the fact that one of your heroes has this as their slogan, facts don't care about your feelings, and all you have right now are your feelings.
No, I have DNA, and DNA begins a
so
new,
does
a
all
new
your
strain
sperm.
of...
So does all your sperm.
No,
yes.
That's literally incorrect.
All of your sperm has DNA. What do you mean that's incorrect?
It has my DNA, but when it combines
Yep.
with the egg's DNA, it creates new DNA.
That would be
That's how
new. That
life
would be
is
a new
created.
combination of DNA. Not new DNA, but a new combination of DNA.
Correct, which makes a new life. That's a new life.
And that's also how we get leaves. That's also how we get salads. We've already established merely being alive and merely having human DNA is not the thing that entitles you to continued existence. The thing that entitles you to continued existence is, in fact, sentience. And even that, as Americans, we don't recognize that because we're fucking killing Iranians who did nothing right now. We're killing Gazans who did nothing right now. I do recognize that as should be murder because their sentience is being absolutely fucked.
Since you're changing the subject, I want to hear Ari or whatever say Massachusetts.
I'm not changing the subject, actually. This is like you the other day thinking you knew what a whataboutism was. This was a parallel example to show that the value that you are describing having, you actually aren't even consistent with on either because you support MAGA. Therefore, you support all the ways in which, as you're saying, abortion shouldn't be allowed on this for this reason, this reason, this reason, this reason. All of the reasons you just gave undermines the great many way MAGA justifies killing people.
In what way has MAGA justified killing people in the same way that you justify abortion?
Sure.
No, it's not the same way. The way I justify abortion actually works is correct. The way you justify abortion, you try to de-justify, excuse me, I'm not done. The way you try to de-justify abortion about treating a human life like it is precious, like that person has a right to continue living, is undermined by MAGA's, for example, absolute support of the people who murdered Alex Preddy and Renee Good, for the way in which they justify things as collateral damage that turned out to be a problem with our intelligence and the way we did our job, and the fact that essentially Pete Hegseth is who murdered that school of girls and yet isn't even being fired, let alone tried, for the fact that his blunder killed over 100 innocent civilians and could have been avoided. He's not even losing his job, let alone going to prison, and people are dead. It is, in fact, the way you are saying a life shouldn't be aborted does not extend out past your values. My justification for abortion actually does work and does not justify the killing of the people, all the people that MAGA seem to love to kill.
Yeah.
So you like letting people that are committing terrorism go, and you want to kill millions of innocent babies across the United States and black babies in the bellies of black women.
That's cute.
Oh,
That's very, very cute. Hey, Brian, do you know what a straw man is? Or how about a red herring fallacy? Do you know what either of those are?
I'm just kind of playing with you. That's what I just did.
So it's a game to you, Brian. He's just playing with you. Hey, Brian. Brian,
I want to hear you say
you're literally trying, you're playing, no, shut the fuck up. I don't care about your opinion anymore because you are now dishonestly representing. Because what you're asking where you're trying to frame it as racist, I don't give a fuck what you want to hear. If anything, I adore Ari and I think Ari should get a chance to speak. But because you just tried to direct the conversation to now it's time for Ari to talk, fuck you in your face. I'm going to talk at you, bitch.
Totally fine with me. I get it.
Bitch being Brian, not Ari. Okay, so Brian, when you're trying to phrase it as you would like to see black babies aborted, what you're referring to the fact is that because black women are disproportionately committed to poverty in America, they also disproportionately take advantage of abortion services often, especially in ways that are actually tracked, because if you are a white person, especially a white person with means, the chances of your abortion even being recorded in any way substantially go down. So now what you're actually describing is, as you're trying to say, and you're a racist because you celebrate black abortion, what would be racist would be, here is a thing that is a fundamental healthcare right, and I'm going to specifically stop black people from accessing it. Literally, it would be racist of me if on the basis of I no longer want black women to get the abortions they're choosing to have, that would be the racist thing. And also what would be racist would be Brian calling in and trying to use black women abortions as a reason to stop abortions, while also saying that it is murder without being able to justify it. So, Brian, you know what isn't nearly the stretch to the red herring you tried to pull off? Brian believes black women are murderers. And since they are disproportionately more likely to access abortion care in America, especially in certain cities and area, you think, like, literally, they are disproportionately murderers. It's hilarious the way they try to use these terms to try and, like, be like, well, this is what makes you racist, as they are, in fact, being fucking racist. Jesus fucking Christ, get a goddamn grip, you absolute moron, and learn the terms that you're going to use before you call in. What a fucking novel goddamn concept. You don't know shit about shit, and then you call in, if you're going to allow immigrants to come into this country and affect House seats, that's treasonous. What is treason? When you do something against the interest of America? So everything is treason? That was, I'm not even joking, Ari. His definition of treason was doing something against the interest of America.
It's not even the legal definition. He didn't even try, did he?
No, it's vibes. It's vibes with this guy.
Oh,
so
God.
Now, Brian, because you don't set when things happen, I'm going to unmute you. And if I so decide I'm done with you, and I probably am, I will let Ari have a piece. But I'm going to beg first. MAGA, certainly you are watching. And certainly you can do better than this guy. Brian calls in and doesn't actually know his own positions. This is why in those same communities, as I said, your people I'd be able to blend in with and would be elevated to a status of representative or leader. Brian is like my oldest brother. People are like, look, we want him to vote for us, but Jesus Christ, we don't want him to represent us. Jesus Christ, we don't want to bastardize him to his face so much that he stops voting for us. We want his vote. We do not want his representation. It feels dumb. I want a person who calls in and there's at least some equality of position. Instead, I feel like the random liberal Fox News finds off of the street where they're like, and look how smart Jesse Waters looks when he's talking to a 19-year-old fresh into college liberal who doesn't actually, had a GPA of a 1.2 and is going to college to party. Wow, look how brilliant he is against the liberals. Except for in that scenario, that liberal I just described could still cook Brian. That's the true truth.
That sounds accurate. He's not doing very well.
You're doing very poorly. So you're going to stop resorting to fallacies or what?
Are you talking to me?
All right. Bye, Brian. Why would we keep you on? Would you walk away from the fucking phone?
No, I'm here. I'm just letting you guys talk.
And you're listening, right?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Tell me the points I made.
Oh, you're just insulting me.
What kind of insults? What did I say?
Well, you said that you're like Jesse Waters. That they put people up against Jesse Waters to make Jesse Waters look smart.
What did I say before that? What did I say before that? Because I think right now you're not showing you were listening. Hang on, Brian. I don't think you're actually proving you were listening. I think you're doing what a lot of people do when they're called out for not listening, and they're activating their short-term memory and just recalling live what the last things they said were. So we know that that's not what happened. What did I say before that you're the equivalent of the dumbest liberal they go and get to debate Jesse Waters on the street?
Well, that is what you just said. You asked me.
Yeah, what did I say before that though? What was the greater point when I put you on mute? What was the greater point I was making?
I don't fucking know.
Yeah, because you weren't listening.
Go ahead and repeat it.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to repeat it. I'm not going to repeat it.
Everyone wants to hear your listeners love your opinion, right?
I don't care to hear myself twice.
You don't even know what you said. You don't even know what you said because you're
Brian. Brian, I know exactly what I said. Here, I'll prove it. I'll type it. I'm going to type it to Ari.
Go ahead.
And Ari's going to confirm whether or not that was the things I was talking about.
Oh yeah, like we believe Ari. Okay.
Yes, we do.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
You do. More than you, at least.
Yeah, of course.
Brian, are you under the impression that people who are watching right now would not trust Ari more than you, including from your own side?
And yeah, that's exactly what he was saying.
I think that's the point.
Cool.
Yeah, that's
All
the
right, I
point I
just
was
sent you a message. Do I, in fact, remember what I said to Brian beforehand?
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
Great. So, Brian, if I can now tell you, I've not rewound any tape, will you commit? In fact, I have all these people here who would hold me accountable if I lied. You Venmo me $100, and if I fail to tell you what I was saying, I'll send it back to you with another 100. I'll send you back 200. Sound good?
That's a pretty good deal.
I believe you. You're putting your money where your mouth is. I think I believe you now.
Oh, okay. Now you believe me.
Oh, he doesn't have the $100 because he spent it on gas.
Totally wasn't. Yeah, it totally wasn't just a rhetorical strategy on your part to try and justify the fact that you absolutely weren't listening, and you haven't shown that we should pay you any mind. Brian, I got to tell you, the only reason you're still on the line is right now there's nobody else waiting. What MAGA would want to follow you after you set this tone? MAGA.
I think.
I will take as soon as another MAGA caller calls in, MAGA, I'm talking to you. I'm positive that many of you could at least articulate your points and would at least know the words that you are using, as Brian does not. So if you would like to get on and you don't want to wait on hold, right now is the time to call, because I will drop Brian even if he's in the middle of the best point he's ever made, which would still be such a blunt point, because points are pointy. It was too much of it. That joke sucked. I will drop him whatever the thing is for anybody else.
Please call in. Please, MAGA.
Thank you, Brian, I assume you're begging for your own deliverance. I assume you're begging for your own deliverance because you're doing so poorly.
Yeah, I'm
Brian, do you often refer to yourself in the third person?
No.
Oh.
So
is this a kink? Go ahead, Ari.
I think it might be, actually. I mean, I'm just curious about something. Gosh, I wish I could remember what the term was. So I am curious, Brian. So you think that the termination of a pregnancy is murder, fine, whatever, killing life. So what is it? What if the twin eats its own twin?
Not for all.
In the womb.
Ooh, I killed my twin. My twin ended up dying because of me.
Yeah. So how does that work?
You strawmanned me.
Actually, I'm just positing you in a real life scenario that you don't feel comfortable answering.
So you said one twin kills the other twin? Is that the scenario?
Yes, in the womb.
I don't think that's intentional. I think what you missed, what I said before, is it's murder if it's intentional. I think a lot of people are tricked into thinking that it's not murder because of people like you. And for those women, it's not murder because they've been tricked.
Hey,
99% of abortions are intentional. Like, well, at least the 99 that occur before 21 weeks, those are all mostly intentional.
Right, and based off of convenience too, not based on health of the mother.
Good. Incorrect. It's actually, I don't know if you realize this because I know you guys like looking at one part of that 95% that you want to try to quote. It says, did not give a response.
Yeah, but I wouldn't even care if it was convenience because you said not life of the mother. Literally, that is life of the mother. Literally, you cannot say, if you're saying life of the mother only matters whether or not she dies or not, that's fucking crazy. But all births, all pregnancies are life-changing and life-altering. And absolutely, it's always life of the mother, Brian. Anyway, Brian, do you believe in God?
Not life of the mother. Yes.
Do you believe God has a hand in all things? Does anything happen that he is unwilling to allow to happen? Is he behind all things, essentially?
Yes.
Okay, great. So would you guess?
Except for
just
one
Brian,
thing.
No, Brian.
One thing.
Brian.
No, you didn't hear me.
Oh my God. Go ahead, Brian. What's the one thing?
Characterize me.
What's the one thing? Go, Brian. Go. What's the one thing, Brian? Go.
Humans have free will.
Great. I'm glad that that's what you went with because, Brian, I wasn't going to go with where you thought you were, and you just fucking killed your own argument because now where we're actually going.
Go ahead.
Hey, Brian, would you reckon that of people who become pregnant, okay, everybody who becomes pregnant, now go ahead and get rid of anybody who goes and get an abortion. So now just people who achieve the status of pregnant, as in they have the presence of at least one fertilized zygote in their system. Do you believe more than half or less than half of those zygotes make it to being a fully developed and eventually delivered baby? Or what is more often a naturally, you could call it nature's abortion, some way that that zygote fetus embryo is eventually aborted naturally without any intention, without any choice made by a human?
I would say it's probably like 70%, 30%.
70% what? Natural abortions, or they make it to term?
That they make it to term.
You are incorrect. Far more. But what's funny is it wouldn't even matter if you were right for the argument that follows. Far more, almost the overwhelming majority of achieved pregnancies are naturally aborted. In fact, the number is so high, it actually is, one of the reasons it's so high is most people who lose the pregnancy were never even aware they were pregnant. It's essentially a fertilized zygote, a human life with both DNAs that never adheres to the cell wall of the uterus. That literally happens way more, oh, I'm not done, baby boy, than delivered babies happens. And you said God has a hand in all things except for human choices because humans have free will. Which means, since those weren't the results of choices, that was nature just being nature, God aborts most pregnancies as he is the individual with his hand in all things that are not human choices. Well done, Brian. The number one abortion doctor in your universe is not all of the abortion doctors on the earth combined. It is the far greater number of abortions being committed by what I would have said was nature, and you will call God. Nice job, bud.
I mean, ended pregnancies and stillbirths happen, but that's the difference. And I think you can call.
And you said that God decides all of those things that were not a result of people's choices.
Yeah, that's up to God to decide, not you.
Great. So
Jimmy.
God is aborting babies.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
God's doing a lot of
God's
things.
the number one abortion doctor.
God's bringing people into the earth. God's created the
I
most
love it, Brian.
humanity.
I am so happy to have you represent Christianity
this
way. That you believe that on the basis of your Christianity, that abortion is wrong, despite the fact that it's not in the Bible. And arguably, you could say that within the Bible are permissions for abortion. That you sit there. The DNA is present when God's aborting them. When God's aborting them. And God seems to be doing so arbitrarily. And it makes way more sense in the frame that abortion, natural abortion, is just a natural occurring thing. We don't see any need to invoke a God. That were it not for this God, those zygotes would have adhered to the cell wall. It seems to actually just be the biological status of the individual at that time.
So if God kills someone with like a brain hemorrhage, can you go up to him and just shoot him in the face because God can do it?
I don't believe God exists, so no, of course I don't.
Right. So, but
that literally wouldn't make any sense, Brian. If somebody, hey, Brian, I gotta tell you. Hey, Brian, I gotta tell you, Brian. If that same person has no sentience, I now feel nothing about shooting it in the face, except for it's messy, gory, gross. I'd have feelings about it. But there would be no moral problem with shooting you wouldn't have committed an immoral act on the surface. You could add elements to it in some way. I could be committing an immoral act against somebody's family who does have a person on life support, and ultimately it's up to them whether they want to remove. And so the immoral act I would have committed would be against them, taking something that is legally their decision and just choosing it for them. But the immoral act wouldn't be shooting. The actual act of shooting in the face is totally amoral when no sentience is present. Again, Brian, it is my values that are consistent. It is only when you try to frame my decision through your values that they become inconsistent because your values are anchored in nonsense.
Why is it not okay to kill somebody?
Because they have sentience.
Well, and also by your logic, because God has a hand in all things, then I guess we need to somehow hold God accountable for every abortion, every murder, every rape, and everything that happens on God's green earth. Because
Brian believes he's above accountability. We're ants to him, so him treating our life arbitrarily doesn't matter at all. We don't expect humanism out of God. He's a God. He only does Godism.
Yeah, it's like it's. I always find it interesting, right? Is that someone that goes to church wants to talk about how abortion is murder, but we never hear them upset about the fact that God wiped the entire population, sans 10 people off the earth. God literally ordered the murder of all men offspring.
Yep.
Keep the
Brian,
women and the children as
literally,
long as they were still virgins.
It's wrong to kill people because they've achieved sentience, and the most effective world will be one based on secular humanism and the sentience of humanity. By the way, we may in the future decide the vegans were right and we were fucked up for killing pigs because they're so sentient.
Also, I'm going to say this real quick because I love this comment that I just got. They thought this was a dunk, which is the best part.
Yeah.
God created life. He has the right to take it. Fantastic. Well, when a woman has sex and she creates life inside of her body, she has the right to take it. Thank you.
That's literally the dumbest fucking thing, though, too. That's like trying to make. Have you ever heard?
She didn't create it.
This was made fun of. This was made in front of. Prove it. This was an argument made on Rick and Morty, where it turned out the father believed that what's the dad's name? Jerry thought it was legal for him to kill the kids because he thought, I brought you into this world, I can take you out as a literal law.
Oh, goodness. Instead of just a saying.
Like, guys, that's a saying. That's like an empty threat.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Did you know that the DNA makes it a separate human? Did you know that? That's how science works?
Obviously. The person who has achieved sentience.
Life, yes.
Yes,
the start of biological life, yes.
Brian, I'm the one here.
If we change
Brian,
the way
excuse me, Brian, I'm not done talking. Brian, this has never worked ever. Yep. I'm the one who believes in bodily autonomy. So I'm the one who believes that once you've achieved sentience, yes, I do, Brian. I believe once you achieve sentience, the only person who has true dominion over your body is yourself legally to guide children. We extend parents' decisions, though that even itself is limited. We extend autonomy decisions to parents.
Rights, as long as Jimmy decides. As soon as Jimmy decides you have human rights is when
as soon as you have as soon as you have a non-arbitrary establishment of when, because certainly making it to the egg is entirely arbitrary. Achieving sentience actually makes a lot of sense as a foundation.
How about the formation of new DNA? The formation of new DNA is the moment of conception. Yes.
Cancer does not have a right to live, even though cancer is the formation of new DNA.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is, you idiot.
Are you kidding me? Oh, my God.
What is cancer? What is cancer? What is cancer?
Cancer is the hijacking of human growth, human cells to grow out of control.
Why? No, grow out of control? You think it's just like, I'm growing too many fingers. It's literally, cancer is the result of genetic errors. The DNA is unique. That's how we can detect it. It is unique from the host. And once again, you're saying something that is arbitrary, Brian. Saying new DNA is present, therefore, is not a better standard than sentience, because otherwise, placentas, which are, again, genetic clones to the babies, should be put on life support because that is a human life with DNA. That is new DNA that, therefore, because it has new DNA in your system, it is guaranteed autonomy. Literally, you don't know the shit you're talking about. You have no obligation to a thing that has never thought. You have no obligation to a thing that has never experienced. It can't know an injustice has happened to it. Therefore, an injustice can't have happened to it on any sense of the word, not even like articulating it. It doesn't have a sense of having ever been alive to have that life snuffed out. When new DNA is formed, new DNA is formed all the time. New DNA is formed in animals. Why don't we give the same rights to animals we give to humans? They have new DNA.
Well, if you saw that baby squirm and you saw the arms get ripped off.
Why don't we give human rights to animals? They have new DNA.
That's exactly how it works.
Why don't we give human rights to animals? They have new DNA.
They didn't have new DNA formed inside of another human. They're not a human.
So what? You just said the answer was new DNA. Why do humans get that right instead of all other living things? If it's this arbitrary and it's just new DNA, why only
So we
humans?
should get rid
say
of
a dog.
animal cruelty laws by his logic.
And just make them humans.
If a dog all of a sudden appeared inside of Ari's stomach with new completely DNA.
No, that's not what you said. You never said that. You said new DNA. You're adding shit now. You're adding shit now. Why is human life sacred
Also,
and other animal life not sacred?
Apparently a baby's in the stomach.
From the legal perspective.
Because we have a
Brian,
because we have a relationship with our universe and our God. And we are created in the image of God.
So Brian, to be clear, if you lost your religion and you recognize that God doesn't exist, would you still have an abortion argument? Yes or no? Or does it rely on your belief in God to make your argument?
It doesn't rely on it.
Yes, it does. Okay, Brian, then don't invoke it ever again. Now, from a purely secular perspective,
why not?
Defend, because I don't believe in God, Brian, and the Constitution is secular. So if you want to come up with a legal status, a legal determination, you have to defend it secularly, because the literal Constitution prevents you from making a law in the interest of your religion. That it is for your religion. If it is a religious-based only law, it is unconstitutional. So you should not invoke it ever again. Because otherwise, if you want... Brian, would you like the right to continue to invoke it? If you say yes, I will allow you to.
No, let's shift it to...
would you like the right on this call to continue to invoke your belief in God as part of your belief that abortion is wrong?
I mean, if I was like you and I didn't
yes
have
or no,
God,
Brian, would you like to invoke would you like the continued access as part of your defense, starting with yes or no? Would you like it to continue to be present in your arguments? Your God,
no.
your religious-based argument?
Let's go with no.
Okay, great. Then don't bring it up ever again. Now, give your purely secular argument that the moment that new DNA is created is the superior, better reason than to give it to an individual once they are capable of experience. And then we'll get past the fact that even once you're capable of experience, you still are not guaranteed no abortions.
I think expectation of growth and every single part of that person's DNA dictates their height, their hair color, their eyes. They've already been mapped out.
Great.
And I think by ending that, it's wrong. I think most people have that written on their hearts. But
great, and that's a feelings-based. Nope, written on your heart is an invocation. Nope. Written on your heart is an invocation of the Bible. You said you weren't going to do that, Brian.
I actually have one on something that he said.
If we protect vulnerable human beings, then you need to protect the most vulnerable among us.
They're not human beings. I've already described. They're not human beings.
When abolitionists said that we should end slavery, there were people around who said, no, don't do that.
Nope. So you're muted again because now you're wanting to talk past me and just make your stupid religious points. I do not acknowledge that they are human beings. In fact, sentience is the moment where I believe it is up to an individual to begin to morally consider their abortion. I still would not at the moment of sentience legally abolish abortion. And it's funny because we haven't even gotten to get there because we haven't gotten to bodily autonomy. So Brian sitting here, it has the most vulnerable among us would still be placentas. They're even more vulnerable. And they're not, neither the placenta nor the fetus is a human being. Period. And so you just restating as though we accept the premise of your argument. Doesn't matter. Also, another bad point, beliefs right or wrong are not a choice. Yes, beliefs right or wrong aren't a choice. That doesn't mean a person isn't held accountable for their beliefs and the choices they make surrounding where they get to those beliefs. Brian is still making rhetorical choices, for example, in this speech. So in as much that anything is a choice, you are still held to your choices, which is connected to your beliefs.
Yeah,
the beliefs themselves are not choices.
There was so much wrong that he said too. Like, the Bible condones slavery. Like, so that's him continuing to invoke that is not helpful at all in any way, shape, or form. But B, one of the things that I wanted to ask him about, which it's not necessarily worth it, but he made a comment that everything about you as a person, like your hair, like your skin tone, your hair, your height, your eye color, everything like that is determined from the moment you are conceived. And it's like, is someone this stupid to not realize that environmental factors actually exist?
By the way, a lot of that happens before you're conceived too, because mitochondrial DNA plays a disproportionate amount on a lot of those characteristics, and mitochondrial DNA only it comes via the X chromosome.
Right.
So legitimately, like, more often from the mother.
Exactly. To me, it's like I don't know how tall I could have gotten because I had a idiopathic disease that popped up. Well, not a disease, but a condition that popped up out of nowhere that was caused by external factors, not my own. And then my growth was stunted because my spine is fused.
Goddamn.
Like, surgery stopped me from being able to grow, and my growth plates hadn't set in.
But at the end of the day, he's anchoring it in just fifis, and you have to have more than fifis. And once again, I still would not even cut off a person's access to abortion literally up until the moment of birth. Once a child has been born, then we're somewhere else entirely. Oh, wait, I'm waiting to see. There's another call being screened. We'll very briefly bring Brian back on, even though this is it's literally just, hey, can I expose more terms I don't understand how they're actually used? 40 minutes in, though, even as a clip, most people will have left this call. 48 minutes in. Jesus Christ. Brian,
he's been on for a minute.
So you're okay with taking a tube and sticking it inside the brain of an 8-month-old and sucking it out and killing that 8-month-old baby inside of a person?
Is that how an 8-month-year-old abortion occurs?
No.
Well, tell me the way that it occurs and tell me that you're okay with that.
Yeah, okay, I will tell you. Okay, great. Brian. I don't need more than that. I don't need more. You're saying more words. You're saying more words. Here's how I will tell you.
D&E is outlawed.
A doctor is with a woman, and that woman is wanting a baby. And that woman may need an abortion. And because of the situation surrounding it, the doctor is willing to assess it, because a doctor will not do an arbitrary abortion because it violates a lot of the Hippocratic Oath with a baby that is that far along. So generally, you want to know what this looks like. This looks like a woman who is crying her fucking eyes out, devastated, because it's just been shared with her that on basic scans, either some scan about the child's brain, some scan about the child's kidneys, some scan about the child's body, that this child is designated to suffer and die, and that actually terminating it earlier, it raises the odds of a successful pregnancy later. So the sooner you do it, the better off you are, though the longer you wait, the more marginal those returns are. So generally, an abortion like that, which this is not hard information to find, Brian, an abortion like that is going to look like some sort of medication that is injected into the child that first puts it to sleep. And by the way, I'm using the word child because I have no problem calling a wanted fetus a baby or a child, because of that emotional attachment and everything. It's not the perfect technical term. It's not the technically correct term, but I have no problem extending that to wanted children on a colloquial level. That injection causes the baby to fall asleep, and then the heart to stop and the brain to stop. And everybody in that scenario is devastated. The mother and the doctor hates that they're there, but recognize the necessity. Then one of two things happened. Labor is induced and a stillborn is delivered, or a cesarean is given to a stillborn. And it is understood and recognized that to a mother who wants to have a child, that this is the safest way to do it, to do the least amount of damage, to make sure that your womb is in as advantageous of a place as possible for the next time you want to give birth. So to actually answer the ridiculous question you were asking, prior to 20 weeks, prior to sentience, I do not care, even if the reason the person has is bigoted. The bigotry would be a problem, but the actual abortion, totally amoral. You can't offend something that doesn't really exist in the first place. It's goo. It's goo with potential, but it's goo. It's non-sentient goo. You can't fuck up goo. Post that. That's where I say people should have moral considerations. But because the situation that I just described to you, Brian, is the reason why, is actually consistent with the reason why women get late-term abortions, not only am I okay with it, the way you tried to make some big red herring slice through the brain, blah, 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 and if that was the most effective way, that would be the way I would be the most okay with too. Not only am I okay with it, I would argue that late-term abortions are some of the most important abortions to protect. That this middle ground people try to claim, like, okay, we got to find a middle ground. Like, it's crazy to think abortion all the way up to birth should be acceptable. But again, abortions that happen late term are almost all wanted children and tragedies. And generally, individuals who have broken past that and committed abortions that don't follow into that, it's been a very small number of doctors, and they've gone to prison for it because it violates medical practices.
Correct. And like in the procedure that he's trying to speak about is called the D&E, and it's outlawed in the United States of America and has been for a long time. And that's why if someone is in the unfortunate event where the fetus is incompatible with life, they have one of two options, right? They can go with the option that Jimmy described where they can have an injection put in, or they can go ahead and give birth or have a cesarean section and then potentially hold that baby until it passes away naturally, in which we don't know what kind of how that baby is potentially suffering. And then that just adds into our our infant death rate or infant death mortality rate that we have in the United States of America that's already on the rise because of instances where the first option that Jimmy explained, where an injection is given to prevent them from feeling any pain, they die naturally outside the womb after they're born. And it's really up to the parent. But if you're already past the point of viability, which arguably scientists would all say 21 weeks, at that point, it is all an injection and an induction, or cesarean section. They are not pulling parts out of a woman. Get off your fucking Reddit thread.
So Brian, and this will be your last question because we do have people calling in that aren't you. Now, since you're doing the create a scenario that literally sounds absurd and stupid, and you're okay with that, the question to you now, Brian, will be, are you okay with denying the care that we just described to you, which again represents most late-term abortion care? Would you deny the women we just described to you late-term abortions in as much as they were just described to you? Unmuting.
No, I would not. And I'll tell you what.
That's literally the reason for late-term abortions.
Not all of them. And you have to understand that.
I'm sorry, you are wrong. For late-term abortions, Jimmy, could you listen to me for... No, I won't. No, I won't. And I already told you there are other people calling. I specifically said late-term abortions, and you said not all of them. And now you're trying to go back to the early term. So you've already lost the argument on late term when a moment ago you tried to pull your 8 months bullshit stab in the brain. And even you've had to acknowledge that late term abortions, which is usually the one people try to middle ground on and go, well, let's at least get rid of the late term abortions. That's the one that you're now recognizing you can't get rid of.
Yeah.
And no, Brian, I won't be listening to you further. I already said when more calls come in, I'm done with you. It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. Go get a consistent secular base, not in your feelings and religion reason that first, non-sentient life should be extended human rights. And then second, even Homo sapien life. And then second, why when in the womb, you would have the continued expectation of being able to violate the autonomy of the mother and use her body to run your shit. which is why I am not for legalizing abortion at any point, because you never have a right to another person's body, no matter how vulnerable you are. And it's always the dudes. It's always the dudes who conveniently, Brian, will never be threatened with pregnancy, but it's easy for him to say, I want all of these people to start carrying the babies. That, bro, go start doing some adopting.
That's all they do. And like, honestly, I take this from somebody that is an attorney, but I love it when he would always say, like, if you are so against abortion, the solution is don't fuck a pro-choice woman.
Yeah. There you go.
There you
If
go.
only that actually worked in Republican circles.
Oh, yeah, no.
Yeah. Even if you are super down with abortions, go fuck a congressman who's Republican and pretends to be pro-life.
Yeah, somebody go get up on Mike Johnson. Actually, don't. I would hate to see what anyone looks like doing that.
Martin in Minnesota, you're on the line with Jimmy and Ari. Martin, how old are you?
25.
25 years old. So you've called in with two things. Which one do you want to focus on? Abortion is wrong. Do you have secular reasoning, or does it require your God belief, and that's why you want to talk about your compelling evidence of the God belief?
It can be secular.
Great. What is your secular argument against abortion?
Well, I think it first starts with like the difference between like a brain mutation and a body mutation, because I do have mental illness, and it's kind of a sensitive topic for me.
Okay, well, do your best to not get too sensitive when you're describing. Just, take a breath and explain your argument for why I am still totally, I don't even know where you're going with it, invoking what did you say, brain alteration versus body alteration?
Yeah.
Okay, why would that be related in any way?
You were mentioning earlier about like mutation where like the kidneys fail, for example.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, yeah, that kind of sucks. I mean, maybe you want to like put a baby up on dialysis for the rest of its life, but it's just not really
No, Martin, that wouldn't work. The condition we're describing is the development of no kidneys, which means there is no like dialysis will handle it. As soon as you are born and you are no longer relying on the circular system of your mother, you drown on your own blood. Dialysis wouldn't work with that. But Martin, you're talking about late-term abortions, which I feel like we already covered plenty on, and have shown this. Late-term abortions are of wanted children that are either at threat themselves of tremendous suffering, the womb and the ability to have further children is threatened, or the mother could die. That's what happens with late-term abortions, why late-term abortions happen. They happen to wanted children, they're tragedies. So why don't we pull back, Martin, first? Do you believe that prior to sentience, prior to a human achieving a sense of being, which is arguably why we call it human being, having the actual experience of being prior to sentience, do you believe abortion is wrong?
No, because the body naturally aborts, we'll call it, this undeveloped fetus within a month all the time.
Sure. And by the way, it also aborts developed fetuses all the time. You have late-term miscarriages also, but fine, that's fine. So you are up to what week do you think it doesn't matter at all?
I think like the 3-month is like my guideline, but I'd prefer
just 12 weeks. Or 2. Yeah, realistically, the brain doesn't turn on until somewhere between 20 and 24 weeks in any meaningful way. Are you opposed up to, let's just say, 20 weeks to make it easy? The brain hasn't turned on. There's no experience of being. Are you good with up to that point?
Sure.
Okay. So even if I got the number wrong, we're saying up to the point of being. Great. So do you believe that the abortions that happen because the child is doomed are wrong?
That kind of goes back to my point of brain versus body, and it's kind of a matter of like who gets to decide what doomed is.
Okay, so let's start with the child is definitely only going to live long enough to suffer and die. Are you okay with the doctor saying they're going to die? There's nothing we can do to stop them dying, so we can make this peaceful, essentially.
Yeah, that would be an ethical abortion.
Okay. Would you say that them saying, hey, here in your 7th month, here is this complication. It is probably going to affect their long-term life physically or mentally or both. And on top of that, it is threatening to hurt you and make it so that you can't have children in the future. And this is a person who wants a family. Would you say that's an ethical or non-ethical abortion?
I would unfortunately say that would be an ethical one. I mean, like maybe in like a perfect world where we have all the monies, but...
So what is an example of a non-ethical abortion that is happening so much that we should make abortion in some way at some point illegal, that currently the doctors who are taking the Hippocratic Oath, who have medical guidelines, who have the guideline of do no harm, what is currently being missed and what is a type of non-ethical abortion that is happening so much that we should pass a law against it and would be what you're calling a wrong abortion?
Put it in a single word, like a convenience abortion, where it's like, them broke, you didn't take the morning after pill.
Convenience abortion after sentience, or you're saying convenience abortion, period?
I think like convenience abortion, period. Like,
so even a person who's 4 weeks pregnant, 4 weeks pregnant, if they do it out of convenience, that's wrong?
No, because that's just what the body does naturally all the time. That's where, like,
okay, so this is why we brought up the sentience thing. So you think that out of convenience, post 20 weeks, essentially, that's why I asked, period or post sentience, that's when you're saying would be bad.
I'd say even like 12 weeks would be where I
why?
The guideline for convenience abortion.
If their brain's not on, why would it now be bad?
I don't know. It just kind of feels like a little lazy thing. Like,
who cares?
I don't know. I was raised
Who cares? If their brain's not on, why would it be wrong for them out of laziness? Which, by the way, do you have kids right now, Brian? Martin.
No, I don't.
Okay, every day you are living your life consistent with not having kids, right now. So to not want something that is huge and upend your life and would make everything complete is not a matter of laziness. You're talking about one of the biggest life-changing things ever. I'm not avoiding babies out of laziness. The same reason why I wear fucking protective gloves when I'm using certain equipment you actually don't want to, because of how inconvenient it would be to lose my fingers. On a sander would be a good version, like a rotary sander. You don't want to lose your finger on a sander. You wear a leather glove because you might touch it. It might burn it off or tear it off, depending on how fast it's going. So I don't care if there's no sentience. As I've already said, Martin, if a person was going to do it for a bigoted reason, the abortion wouldn't be the problem. The bigotry would be. So if a person crosses a road because they don't want to be on the same side of the road as a black person, the racism is a problem. The act of crossing the road is amoral. Because it's whatever the reason is, crossing the road isn't itself wrong or right, but you being a bigot is. So if that's the reason why a person aborted a pre-sentient life, the abortion would be amoral. The racism would be the problem. So if you are right about laziness, which you're not, even if you were, the laziness would be the problem, not the abortion.
Okay, yeah. I mean, the other thing to consider is, when does the brain actually turn on? Like, I haven't studied that science. You say 20 weeks, but I'd like to be on the safe side and not accidentally abort something that's alive.
Yeah, no, sentience is about 22 weeks. Pain receptors aren't fully developed until about 24, 25 weeks. Some have indicated to be receptive as early as 21 weeks, but that's only been experienced after the fetus has been born and is therefore a baby.
And Martin, again, I wouldn't make it illegal because that's how you feel.
My personal experience, like I've had memories of when I was within the womb.
No, you did.
So
no,
like
okay.
Oh my God.
Martin, why did you wait this long to admit you're a fucking troll?
I'm not a troll. I'm schizophrenic.
Yes, you are, Martin, because you have no memories in the womb. That's impossible. You don't have your brain is still developing.
You say sentience begins 20 weeks in. When does the memory start?
Hey, Martin, Sentience does not mean the ability to make memories. You actually arguably can't do that until you're like 3 years old. That's why you also don't have any memories from 1 year old. And by the way, Martin, let's say you had a memory from the womb. You don't. You might have deluded yourself into thinking you do. You definitely don't. Let's say you did. How would you having a memory from the womb in any way establish how much time that was relative to your actual delivery? How would you have tracked how many days have passed, how many minutes, hours, before you even know the concepts of days, minutes, and hours? It's like when a person dies and has a near-death experience and comes back and says that when they were having the near-death experience, it was during the period of time they were dead, despite the fact that there is periods of time before and after the death where they are unconscious. How do they know it was when they were dead and not while they were unconscious? You can't know those things. But also, you 1000%, I promise, I will give you my company if you prove me wrong. You do not have a memory from within the womb, nor does anyone.
I mean, if you have a way to record the memory as like...
Go ahead and prove it's even potentially
cells.
possible to have a memory from within the womb.
Please, scientific data.
Well,
let's try it.
We can brain scan, and we have
that we just... There's like a lot of genetic codes that we just don't know what they do.
Genetic codes aren't memories.
Why not? Like,
what is a
Why
memory?
not?
Memory is like a conscious perception, but I'm also arguing that...
No, physically, when you remember something, what is happening in your brain?
Your like neurons are being set in place in a specific pathway that basically recreates the event, and you can like go and walk down those pathways again.
Well, no, because you
the
can't walk
pathways
down
of a
those pathways
neuron-
again. In fact, every time you remember, it's new. Every time you remember, it gets pushed to a new level. So the next time you remember, you're actually remembering the last time you remembered, not the actual core memory. And do you believe that the physical structures for creating memories that we can remember years later exist in pre-delivered children?
You can repeat the question?
Physically in your brain does something to make memories and recall memories. Do you believe that that type of memory, long-term memory, exists in the brain of pre-delivered babies?
Yes.
Why?
Honestly, just personal experience. Like,
No, what you
believe it, but it's what I believe.
Yeah, it's what you believe, right? And there's something inherently wrong with you making that statement. It's not something that you know, correct? You don't know for a fact. It's a belief, it's a thought, it's a feeling.
Right. Literally,
Okay,
this
like
is
when you take a picture and then you forget that you took the picture and you go back and look at the picture. Is that a memory?
No, that would be recall. Recall of an action.
It's a sort of
a
abstract
short-term
question
memory.
you're asking. Sure. If you look at a picture and there was a part of your memory you didn't easily have access to, getting those neurons to refire was difficult, but then some core element of this photo was able to get you back to those neurons, sure. But you're literally describing a trigger that takes you back to that memory. You don't have a good way to demonstrate, Martin, if I'm taking you at your word that you really believe you have womb memories, you don't have a way to demonstrate that sometime earlier in life or whenever this happened, that somebody gave you the impression that that was possible and your brain created those. Because you know what does exist a lot in people? False memories. People who think they were at events that they later find out geographically they weren't even in the same city of. That shit happens all the time. You know what we don't see at all? Fetuses with long-term memory, period. It is physically impossible that you have womb memories It is extremely
I
possible.
say it's more
You have
biologically
false
impossible than
memories.
physically impossible.
No, yeah,
Do you
it's
believe,
both.
Martin, do you believe that that was a meaningful distinction?
Yes, I do.
It isn't.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, it is physically impossible because at present, the physical world exists in a certain way and Homo sapiens exist in only a certain form. So I didn't say it is impossible for any creature to have ever developed this way. Homo sapiens have developed in one way within the physical world. So I'm going to repeat it. It is physically impossible, as you are a Homo sapien, as that is the biology you have to work with, that you have a womb memory. You have a false memory if you're even telling the truth in the first place. Now, I'm tired of the abortion thing. You say that you have, by the way, lines are still open if anybody would like to give. It doesn't have to be abortion, by the way. We'd love to talk to why people support MAGA. Phone number is 336-543-2101. Martin, you have compelling evidence. What?
Did you say MAGA? MAGA?
I said
MAGA.
Okay, I just misheard you then.
Martin, you also told the screener you have compelling evidence of the existence of God.
More of a philosophical proof than it is evidence.
Then that's not.
But
Okay.
That's not
well,
evidence.
then that won't be. So when you say philosophical proof, what you're going to mean is you have the kalam or you the teleological or something like that. And the way philosophical arguments go is it isn't necessarily actually that anything is proven. It's whether or not people know the memorized response. If you believe that philosophy has produced a proof of God, I have so many things to sell you using philosophical justification. So what is your proof of God?
Theory.
It's kind of like based on is 0 a number?
No, it isn't. 0 doesn't actually exist, but we use it as a number in mathematics.
That's kind of like my philosophical proof of God is like.
Okay, but that's a dumb proof of
we
God.
use him as a hypothetical. He doesn't exist.
But that doesn't mean, okay, so, but if I tell you 0 doesn't literally exist, but there is a function to using 0 in math, that is basically like a sort of utilitarian, like God doesn't exist. So do you believe like 0, God doesn't exist, but there's a function to pretending he does?
I think he did exist at one point, but he had to destroy himself.
What proof do you have that he did exist at one point?
Just my thoughts.
Okay, so you don't have compelling evidence that God exists at all. Because you don't even believe God exists. You believe he destroyed his evidence. What?
The definitions of words is hard for me.
No. Being a Christian and trying to do bullshit arguments is what's hard for you because they don't actually work and function. These are Sunday school arguments. When you're surrounded by other people who already believe the same basis as you do, it's easy because they're like, wow, that's really deep because I'm not looking for a reason. I'm only here for the confirmation bias. I'm not looking for problems in the argument. I'm only looking for things that affirm my beliefs. That's why you're having issues, Martin. Martin, what type of Christian are you?
I just watched a video a couple days ago called Muscular Christianity. It was
Muscular
by
Christianity?
King. Yeah.
Sounds like trying to get buff.
I'm once again, my troll are going off. By the way, to the person in the womb, person who said Google whether you can have memories in the womb, we were talking specifically about long-term memory.
Yeah, that doesn't develop until you're 2.
Right, literally later. Short-term memory, which is a totally different function, absolutely could exist because it is the way you might operate on as a baby, sort of instinctually changing your position because of the recollection of some pattern that just happened and now that makes you uncomfortable. That's probably a bad way to illustrate it, but it was specifically, it is impossible. The memory functions that would allow you to recall that far back do not exist until you are 2 or 3 years old.
I will say,
Martin,
I do kind of subscribe to, or sorry, I kind of
short-term memory.
We're not going back down that route, Martin. I was just going to say I do kind of ascribe to vascular Christianity.
Yeah, when you said muscular Christianity, I'm now once again convinced you're a troll.
Yeah, it was a very the person who makes it is a very, very heavily engaged in the algorithm, let's just say, and so they know what keywords are going to get them the most views.
Mm-hmm.
And so they call it muscular Christianity because it's going to get views more than vascular Christianity.
Great. So you believe God doesn't exist and he destroyed himself. What year did that happen?
I have no idea.
But it happened post the resurrection of Jesus Christ.
If I don't know. I mean,
what do you mean you don't know? So wait, you're a Christian that doesn't necessarily believe the Bible is true? That Jesus Christ was God?
I mean, I believe that the Word of God is a living scripture. So if God exists, and
so how was God issuing the Word of God if you don't know whether or not he destroyed himself post Jesus Christ?
Well, I don't think the universe reset when Jesus died. But I think like
what are you talking about reset? We're talking about you're saying God was giving his word 2,000 years ago, but he might have also have destroyed himself before that.
Which was an interesting comment, I will say.
I think like it goes back to like Genesis. You know, in the beginning was the Word, which is like God, and then he said to
was
himself,
Jesus God?
Composed of many parts, that he's going to create the universe, and then he destroyed himself to create the universe in 7 days.
So you don't believe in God, you don't believe in the Christian God, you believe in some kind of like super restricted, slightly deistic, slightly Jewish God who just did Genesis and then bailed. And then Jesus is just a bro?
Well, actually, like, humanity would have never existed if all he did was create the world in 7 days and then self-destructed, right?
Yeah.
Like, humans wouldn't have become a thing. Eve wouldn't have ever existed. Like, God wouldn't have breathed life into Adam. Like, none of this would have worked by what you just said.
Didn't God create humans on the 6th day?
You said the world,
he rested,
but that's fine. You're invoking the human thing. What's the latest time in the Bible that God is said to directly talk to humans?
I think God didn't exist at the same time that humans did. He just is
what is the latest time in the Bible, in which case God talks directly to humans?
In the Bible, it's mostly through
12:01.
angels. So,
according to the Bible, when is the last time God speaks directly to humans?
12:01 p.m., Jimmy.
Thank you.
He doesn't talk to them after it's right afternoon.
Have you read the book of Revelations?
a little bit. I mean, you know, my parents always read the Bible at dinner as like our main way to read the Bible, but we read a chapter and then we read a different chapter. And
does the book of Revelations claim God talks to humans?
I don't think I remember God specifically speaking. No, I think God did talk to Paul in the book of Revelation.
So is that before or after he destroyed himself? Let's just go with that. Let's just go with that's when you think it is. Does he destroy him? But he's destroyed himself before. So is the Bible the word of God if it's reporting on God talking to humans, but God has been destroyed? What are they, fucking voicemails?
I know, I think like God's messages to like people through the Bible and setting up events is just
how much weed do you smoke, Martin?
That you can plan it out. And it's been about 2.5 months.
How much weed do you smoke?
I normally took about 1 to 3 hits a day.
Yeah. Just when you're coming up with your theology. Martin, this is so bong hit theology where you're like, I just think it's like, what if God just like destroyed himself, man? Like, I know that I have no basis for this. And I said I have compelling evidence for God existing. And my evidence was, does the number 0 exist? Not in a literal way. Nothing also doesn't exist in a literal way. But in the beginning, like, before there was something, wasn't there nothing? It's too high. I'm too high. Martin, this is a fucking joke. MAGA, you can't do better than these people. Theas, you can't do better than these people. It says you're here a conservative. Why do you support Donald Trump?
I don't really support Donald Trump. He does a lot of bad things.
Do you condemn Donald Trump?
I always like condemn men. You deny what he does, right?
Do you believe Donald Trump should be impeached and removed from office?
I think he's legally considered a felon, and the felon can't be president.
Yes, they can.
There is no law against it.
Yeah, that's so when you are president, you can be impeached and removed from office while in the office performing violations of what is it? Something in misdemeanors. Is it felonies and misdemeanors for removed for? What's the exact phrase?
It's oh gosh, I think
high
it's high treason. Yeah,
high crimes and misdemeanors.
That's what it is.
That's in office. Felons are allowed. You can run for president and become president in a prison. Physically, you could be in prison and you can still become. So now the question to you is: do you believe that Donald Trump should be impeached and removed from office?
Well, I think America is doing some good stuff on the world stage. I just not familiar enough with politics to know if Trump is actually doing anything to support that, or if he's just taking.
What's the emoluments clause?
The emoluments clause? I have no idea.
Emoluments.
It's okay. I say it wrong often too.
Yeah. So it's the clause that says that basically you can't profit from being the president or in an office position of power.
So, Martin, here's the 3 things we have. You're anti-abortion. We've gone through your reasons. You have terrible reasons for being anti-abortion, even where you're actually mostly pro-abortion. You just have weird like spots on the details of where, and you don't recognize that the laws that the conservatives want to put into place would end the abortions that you think are good. And the ones you think are bad wouldn't really be happening any more than they were now, because the ones that most people think are bad abortions that are happening all the time aren't actually happening all that often. Most abortions are already happening before your 12-week mark, which was still a silly number. So you have silly reasons for the abortion beliefs that you have that aren't any good. You have silly reasons for believing God exists. And even more than that, you have a like silly anthology about like the life of that God. Maybe try writing a book and see if somebody can make that whole thing work. I don't know, but this ain't it. And then to end, you have a very silly, like, you're conservative, but you don't even have like, it seems like a baseline grasp on politics. Yeah, go ahead.
Let me ask you a question.
Go ahead.
Where does consciousness arise from?
Probably the brain. It's probably an illusion, but we're still figuring all of that out. But it's probably an illusion that is, it's sort of like, we think we need a special word for it. I'm on the side that that basically describes consciousness as just basically simultaneous sense and the ability to process and have an internal, basically most people when they're talking about consciousness are talking about a combination of being awake and experiencing internal monologue. And those things seem to be tracked. But this greater thing that we have that we philosophically feel very attached to, and I admit I feel the attachment too, I just recognize that it's probably unjustified. That part's probably an illusion.
Yeah, well, maybe I should write a book. Yeah, if only I knew how to type. Like I said, I'm
weird
not currently smoking weed, so I'm in recovery right now in a facility.
Okay.
So, oh, you're in a facility recovering from marijuana addiction?
That's...
Yeah,
who's...
so I'm...
Was it Martin... Did somebody say like, hey, if you call in, I'll give you $1 for every minute you waste of theirs and they keep you on the line? Is that what it is? Like, tell me you're getting paid to do this trolling at the very least.
No, I'm just going to be changing my meds here in a couple days and I wanted to get some thoughts out.
Huh. I don't believe you. I think you're just a full-on troll with or you're either a full-on troll or you just have terrible reasons for your beliefs.
Yeah.
Or just a
well,
pothead.
That's what weed does to you. I mean,
That's what weed does to you, indeed. And yet, I think you'll find that a number of the individuals who work on this very channel, these channels, who are very good at figuring out how to make their beliefs, form their beliefs, and engage in good skepticism and shit, I think you'll find that a lot of them utilize, even in some cases, an excessive amount of cannabis products and don't find themselves believing such silly, silly things.
Okay, can I put you on hold for a minute? I have to go take my meds.
No. I didn't really believe any of that from the start. MAGA. I'm going to give you a minute to call. We have another call lined up. But it's not a MAGA call. So I'm going to give a moment for MAGA callers to get on because we'd like to give MAGA priority. MAGA, you can call at 336-543-2101. I also believe that the call on the line, while they could be totally in good faith, there's like a higher odds of there are certain flags that we have where it's like the odds of this being a troll caller are higher, but maybe they won't be. I need to pee. So you want to try and invoke some calls? I'll tell you what, MAGA.
Sure.
I will mute myself. If a MAGA caller calls in right now, I will mute myself. I'll put a timer up and I will let you talk to just Ari for 8 minutes before I come in at all. It'd be the nice thing to do anyway, but now I'm going to use this to try and invoke some calls. So you work on soliciting some MAGA calls while I go pee. BRB.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know. So MAGA, I mean, I am curious why you guys still support Donald Trump. I don't know if you guys saw it, but there was a press conference on Monday that everyone was at, right? And Donald Trump was talking and talking and talking. And Stephen Miller, right? His own hired individual, not appointed, hired, right? It's not somebody that was confirmed by Congress, nothing like that. So this is a direct hire by Donald Trump, Stephen Miller, right? You guys can find it where they were like the journalists there were recording Stephen Miller. And Stephen Miller just rolls his eyes, takes a deep breath, literally puffs out his cheeks, and does a heavy sigh while Donald Trump is talking. He looks to be like the most annoyed person to ever be listening to Donald Trump at that moment. Like Stephen Miller is even done with Donald Trump. So I'm just really confused, like why you guys would even still support the president of the United States. At this point, Stephen Miller's only there because he's getting paid, right? And some of his crazy ass agenda is being pushed out there. So if you're MAGA, please call the number on the screen. We're not going to do anything crazy with it, right? I want you to call the number, tell me, convince me in some way, shape, or form why I should still support not still. So used to saying still because of my background, guys. But tell me why I should support Donald Trump when his deputy chief of staff is not, right? Why should I support Donald Trump in administration 2 when his own deputy chief of staff is just rolling his eyes, exasperated, listening to Donald Trump talk? But y'all listen to him like every day. Him and his nonsensical comments that he can barely get through, anything that he says. He couldn't even say obliterate the other day when he was talking about how we obliterated Iran's nuclear sites back in June last year. And he's like, obliterate. Like he has to pause. He stumbles over his words constantly. Isn't this exactly what you guys were telling me was the problem with Joe Biden? Which, I mean, fair. Joe Biden was old as shit. He shouldn't have been in office. I agree with that one. But how are you still supporting someone that stumbles constantly over their own words, can barely string together their sentences, repeats himself 3 times within one paragraph. If you can even consider it a paragraph, I'm not sure.
Are you complaining about how I talk too much?
Yeah, it's definitely you. Also, Jimmy sucks. Like, isn't it GFYJ? Is that the acronym? So if you guys are still supporting Donald Trump for some reason, call in. Tell me why. Tell me why you haven't signed up for the military service. Tell me why you think the SAVE Act is a great idea. Tell me about how all of the illegals are voting in our elections and that's bad. Tell me all about all of this crazy stuff. Well, it's not crazy to you. Convince me it's not crazy. And also follow me, Mermaid RE0. Or subscribe. Hi. Subscribing is following.
We'll talk to Steve a little bit here in the meantime while we wait to see if another MAGA calls in. Steve in Canada, you are on the line with Jimmy and Ari. Steve, how you doing?
Hello. Here.
Yeah, hello, Steve. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine. How old are you, Steve?
37, unfortunately.
That's not so bad. We're basically the same age. I'm not quite, but close enough. You could round me up.
Birthdays are actually fairly short, really close. So.
Oh, happy birthday then, Steve, because mine wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, mine was the 9th.
Cool. All right, man. Well,
I guess
what's your question?
I'm basically just asking, like, I think you're, like, generally pro-gun, but I guess I'm just, like, wondering, like, what's your like, ideal situation in terms of, like, gun ownership?
That's always the hard question because it's way easier for me to tell you what's wrong than how to do it right. I know from a like bird's eye view what zones we need to be in, but it's hard to go like it's very easy when you go with ideal situations to describe a world that can't even exist. And so it's hard to tell you what that is for America because we have so many guns in America. So when you describe me as pro-gun, more what you're describing is more equality between, more like something that is an equality issue between classes. And right now in America, our military and our police force protect one class with guns. They don't protect, they're not tasked with protecting the middle class or the poor. While they do things so that we'll keep paying for them to sort of virtue signal that, at the end of the day, they're here to protect the rich and specifically property of the rich. And so in as much as I currently live in a society where I am surrounded by guns and my opposition has guns and the people who would mean to marginalize me have guns, I am pro-gun and even pro in the face of assault rifles being available to them, pro-assault rifle. I think assault rifles, especially a certain category of them, because that word doesn't mean that much, should be banned. But I own one that should be banned. Until it is, I won't be. So then outside of that, the question then becomes like where guns still continue to exist. And my guess is I probably still think there should be some guns owned by the workers because there's always going to be an attempt to exploit and an attempt to create class division again, an attempt to, and you probably need something like guns to prevent that from happening. But where we get to there, what it would look like if we reached utopia, my utopia, I don't know that would be, it's just hard to say.
Okay. So I mean, like personally, my utopia would be like generally like no guns, obviously. Like it's just like it's a device that's meant to just kill things, right? So it's just obviously in general, like also
ideal world for sure.
But like I guess I have a hard time seeing a world where like violence isn't like a normal thing when guns still exist. I guess like it's I don't know. I guess I
Yep.
have a hard time seeing where guns fit into like an actual like civilized society. I guess is generally where, and it's just like if you're willing to acknowledge like a certain amount of guns because the conditions that we have is okay, then like how do we ever really get rid of them? I guess I don't know. I'm just
I don't know, man. I just know that the current overreach of literally even now things would be worse if the left wasn't armed in America. And it's bad. But what happened in Minnesota would have also been worse. There is actually some brakes put on by the fact of like, eventually, if you keep oppressing a people, they will kill you. There is a line, and that line where you limit your oppression, or you try to slow down the implementation of it until it's more normalized and accepted, is more functional because people are afraid of weapons.
yeah. I guess that might be where I can disagree. Like I think that realistically, violence just begets more violence, and it's just
Probably.
like it's like if you know like the violence. Like I'm in Canada, so like obviously I don't want to deal with the shit that's going on right now. But like I mean, it just seems
violence,
like with all the shit that's going on in Minnesota, if people came out and started like shooting cops and stuff like that, like that's not.
Steve, violence definitely begats more violence, but that doesn't mean that the begatted violence is unjustified if the violence that started it
for sure.
reach a certain level of oppression. And so like some level of violence would have been warranted to prevent the death of Alex Preddy. I'm not going to say what I think that would have been, but some level of violence would have been warranted in that situation because fundamentally you didn't have to have dead people. And so saying like in the face of the violence happening to us, this is going to begat more violence for sure. And then you hope that when that violence has been begot, that it becomes eventually begotten violence that's a memory, because after the violence was rectified with more, like, man, I only know one thing that ever ended Nazis. It was bullets to the head. And didn't even fully end them. We didn't even make sure to finish the job. And now they're back. Okay. Now that's not me calling for, go find a person you want to call a Nazi right now. Right now, that is just at its current level. The thing we know that stopped the actual Nazis back in the day was killing them. Not necessarily all of them, but enough of them. I've never seen a non-violent remedy to fascism.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I guess that's kind of my point, though, is that like you killed the people that were currently doing the things, but like the ideology never went away, and so it's just come back now again. And so I guess it just, I don't know, it just
because the humanists have never won.
Of just like never-ending cycle of violence.
When did the humanists and socialists win? We haven't won yet. You say it never went away. Yeah, because we literally sent fascists to go fight fascists in World War II. I keep making this point because people love to talk about like the World War II generation of soldiers like they were great people. My grandpa literally came back, paratrooper on D-Day, that is a hero of my family, came back and bought a house in a no blacks allowed to buy neighborhood city in New York. Like we haven't won, so that's why it's not gone away, because we're only marginally better than our opposition.
But that's kind of what I mean. Like that's like it's just, it kind of seems like violence, just like killing the opposition isn't going to change your side. If
you sure about that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
So what's your solution, bud?
Like we still have we still have like Nazism and stuff like that. Like, I don't know.
What's your solution, Steve? If reducing harm and reducing oppression is your goal, with the eventual hope that somehow you can break through and actually implement equitable society, but in the meantime, reduction of oppression, reduction of harm is your goal, what is your solution that will never invoke the use of violence?
Yeah, no, I don't know if there is ever.
What if, Steve, what if I take that off the table? How about you don't have to use violence, but can you even give me something where violence has to be left on? Because that's what we're doing. We're trying to non-violently make changes with the knowledge that we have a Second Amendment in America I own that gun technically because the Constitution guarantees that I can rise up against a tyrannical government with it, right? That's technically why I have it. So let's say I'm not going to put violence on the table, just the threat of violence. That at a certain point, if you don't work with us, violence will be what is left. What solution do you have that doesn't include violence, just the threat of violence?
I guess personally in that circumstances, I think just also I think a general strike is a lot more effective than potentially like threatening violence. Because like especially in
not when the other side has no problem with the violence thing, man.
Yeah, I know, but like current circumstances, we have like jets and satellites and cruise missiles and tanks and all that type of shit. Like, how is a bunch of people coming up with like a bunch of rifles supposed to like meaningfully like change things? It seems like realistically the violence that people have access to is to basically say, we're going to shut down the economy. And like,
Steve,
you want to be rich.
Real quick, the answer to your question about what does that stop, I already answered it earlier. They're going to oppress and they're going to use those things, but there is a line that they will go to. Because once the violence that isn't as good breaks out, you're bringing a gun to a drone fight. Yeah, a lot of people are going to die. A lot of their people are going to die too. And most of all, less people are going to be rich. And rich people could potentially die. Mm-hmm. And those are the things they want to protect from. I think general strikes are fine. We've done general strikes. They figure it out. We also live in a society, a consumer society, where we are dependent on a lot of the things to where those strikes never can be a permanent thing. Or tend not to be a permanent thing because people are like, well, if I know someone personally who's not going to go without their Kindle subscription, I'm not going to. So if you even with guns, Steve, we're not convincing people to actually stick to the general strike. So again, what is your solution, man?
Well, that and like real quick, Steve, sorry, and I'm not trying to derail at all, Jimmy.
No,
but
you should do it more.
I know I'm really bad about butting in. Anyways, like he made a comment that they have tanks, that they have warships, the whole ass Navy and everything. But Steve, I know you're familiar with the wars that the United States has fought. Who won in Vietnam?
Oh, yeah, of course. But after how many people died and how many Vietnamese died, because of the question.
Still doesn't matter. We had the superior force. We still lost. Who won in Afghanistan?
I guess I fully understand what you mean. I guess it's...
Yeah. Like, I mean, I've made that comment before until somebody else brought up to me how it didn't make any sense. I know. And so then I had to sit and think about it. I was like, well, you are right. Like, yeah, it's a thought that, yeah, the government has drones. We have, someone might have an AR or an AK and they could do some damage, but it's not going to take down a drone, right? But that doesn't matter because there are other people and they can't strike all of us at once, which is why we've lost in other wars.
Yeah, I fully understand. Like it's I guess to me it's like the difference between not winning versus losing, I guess. I think it's a war of aggression, so it's slightly more complicated than just winning or losing. When you just can't get your aggression successful, I guess. I don't know.
Hey, Muddy in chat, please call in 336-543-2101. I'd like you to make that assertion directly to my face because I am currently present day putting myself in more danger than you are, literally now. And I'd like to hear more about what you know about what the limits of that would be. Give it a call, 336-543-2101.
Yeah, I mean, like if anyone else to talk to, yeah, please feel free to do so. I guess all I'm saying is like, it's just like I don't know, like it's kind of like a cultural thing, like almost like when you promote like violence and culture, like and whole gun culture, and like how you're supposed to take things in your own hands, and you're supposed to be like protect your family and stuff like that, protect your house, your castle, and everything. Like it seems like it's inevitably going to lead to this kind of more warrior-like kind of culture where it's like, okay, you're coming against us, so then we're going to come and, you know, get you first.
Then let me clear it up for you, in case you think that we're trying to be coy about it. I do own guns for self-defense and possibly offense, to go and seek to do violence if that is the appropriate response. And that is, again, the actual guaranteed Second Amendment right. That if violence is what it will take to take down a tyrannical government, my gun exists to, if somebody shows up here and they shouldn't be, and they mean to do harm to me or my pets or somebody I love, I will kill a person before they kill my dog.
That's valid.
Yeah. I mean, in fairness, if somebody comes in, breaks into your house and they're killing your dog, you're already fully justified because the presumption is the violence will turn to you next. Anyway.
Yeah, that and like,
I mean, just
I was going to say something on that and then I lost my train of thought.
kill people with your dog is what I'm saying.
Yeah. But also, it exists for if the day comes. And maybe that day doesn't look like pointing the rifle at anybody and pulling the trigger. Maybe that day looks like marching in a protest with the guns. And maybe that ends in my death. Maybe the military doesn't like that protest because they're under a fascist government and they show up and they start killing innocent people. Maybe I get prettied. Maybe that's what ends up happening. And it's very sad because I don't want to die. Living is the only thing I literally do. So, I am not so, I'm in my 30s. It's not that old. And yet I sit here and go, I've benefited from a lot of privilege that I got from the exploitation of a lot of people. And if at this point, after recognizing that, I'm not willing to say my life is not worth risking for the people who gave up their lives for me to have all of these privileges and benefits, then I'm kind of a fucking piece of shit anyway. I'm not going to do any sleeper cell shit. I'm not going to go, you know, I'm not like, oh, here's my blueprints of this government building. I have those blueprints for recreational products. I like to build them in The Sims and then make Pete Hegseth do gay shit with other Sims.
That's funny.
In the Pentagon, where the center of the Pentagon looks a lot more like a butthole. What?
Just thinking about building a tunnel under the White House.
I think they've already got lots of those.
Yeah. That would be too realistic, I think.
True. Anyway, MAGA, this is your last chance. If you're wanting to call in 336-543-2101, 336-543-2101. To muddy the you're not doing shit or whatever, and then why, so we can agree. I'm just saying is that you ain't putting up a fight against artillery with Grandpappy's old 308. First of all, I don't have Grandpappy's old 308. I currently have a modern day assault rifle, but nor did I think that if it's me versus the military, I'm going to win. I recognize that if this turns into a civil war or something with actual violence, I'm probably more likely to be a casualty. Even before you hit that moment, I'm more likely to be a casualty than a person who was the next George Washington of whatever. That's not what it's about. And when you were sitting up there and like trying to talk down to me, it seemed like, I don't know. It seemed like you were questioning the authenticity of whether or not I would put my life on the line for people I care about and movement I care about. That's what I care about. Go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, sorry. Can I just grow up like if you like acknowledge that you're not like you're owning a gun is not substantially going to change the outcome of some sort of like actual meaningful civil war, then like what's the point of everyone having a gun where everyone just like shoots each other? Like it's
Steve.
Like it's the only country.
Let's
in the world
say that
where, like,
my individual vote is not going to make a difference in an election. What's the point of everyone voting?
Yeah,
because people don't die when, or I guess I should. People don't.
I'm just trying to demonstrate your metaphor makes no sense. My individual gun ownership. It said here that you consider yourself a socialist, and you're basically saying,
I do, yeah.
If your individual action won't make a difference, why would a collective action make a difference? Bro, we only don't call socialism collectivism anymore because the fucking right have gotten so gay with that word. They literally are like, collectivism, I have to go have gay sex now?
Yeah, they don't get it.
Yeah, sorry. When I said me, I meant
I'm allowed to use that word like that. I kiss boys, for the record.
Okay,
not with
fine.
beards, though. Believe it or not, I'm not into beards.
Well, am I allowed to use it too?
If you kiss boys, Steve, yeah, you can say gay, however you want.
Okay, yeah, sure. So can I use that phrase now too?
You like kissing boys, right? You have to like it. Not reluctantly kiss boys. You don't get a one-off permit.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
As long as you like kissing boys. But okay. I'm such a hypocrite. I won't kiss a boy unless he shaves his face.
I don't think that's hypocritical. I actually used to not like beards on guys, or it had to be like it. So it was like one of two things. You could not be in the process of growing it out because that shit hurts. Like, sorry, it's not a fun feeling. If you're shaving, you're going to stay shaving, right? I don't want to be near your face when you're growing it out. If you have a beard, it has to be kept short and closer to the face and just like not out there.
I just think at minimum, you need to trim your lip line.
Yes, that's also.
I do that.
That's
I try to keep my hair out of my kisses. Luthien, do I do a good job of keeping my beard out of our kisses, or are you getting a lot of pokes?
No, you do a great job.
Thanks, babe.
Your beard is awesome. I love it.
Thank you. I would be so ugly without it, and she'd leave me.
What if you can't grow a beard? Is that a thing, Ari?
Huh?
You were hearing my girlfriend, Steve. You weren't hearing Ari with that my beard was great thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. I was like, what about me? Like, I wasn't a part of that little
Luthien's my producer, and I make her have sex with me as part of her job. Luthien, specifically.
Cool, I guess.
Yeah, it's a joke. She's my girlfriend. We were dating for quite a while before she started working here. And Jesus Christ, such a good decision. It's so much more fucking convenient. I don't only like twinks, but I was also, I'm getting a little old to still be into twinks. I gotta tell you guys. Because I don't think we can, like, twinks are kind of like 23 at the oldest. And I appreciate like a well-aged man. You could have like a twink legacy, for the record, guys. You could have like a twink, like this guy was a twink for sure. And so he's like honorary twink, but
I don't know what that means, and I'm not sure I want to know.
You know, I didn't know. So twink, usually they're like kind of like very well-groomed, skinny, often skinny, well-shaved, nice features, soft features. They'll like very well groomed. I'm talking like very well groomed. I didn't know that twink allegedly comes from the word Twinkies, referring to young, dumb, and full of cum. I didn't know that was.
That's
somebody told me that once.
Oh, God.
I don't think that's actually what it means. But one time, I'll just tell you all, Kwaku got mad at me years ago when we would go back and forth at each other because I referred to him as a twink, and he had found on Urban Dictionary, twink is someone who's young, dumb, and full of cum, like a Twinkie. And I was like, all right, bro, that's not what I was saying when I was calling you a twink, for the record. Anyway. But you can't gay-splain if you're queer, dude. I guess you can, because I guess I white-splain. Never mind. I take back what I said. Of course you can gay-splain. Oh, the only person who can gay-splain. All right, do you know what mansplaining is? Let me explain. Mansplaining... Just kidding. All right, anyway, Steve,
Exhibit A.
Yeah. Have you heard of this? That's
what that just was. Have you ever heard of this? Let me explain it to you real quick. Exhibit A.
Steve, you got any other thoughts before we let you go? I'm not telling you to go get a gun. You don't gotta, but I'm going to keep mine.
Well, I probably kind of can't. But anyways, everyone watch The Expanse. Good show.
Watch The Expanse? Is that what you said?
Yeah, because you keep saying that we're expanding the shows, the channel.
Oh, got it. I thought you meant a movie called The Expanse.
Sure. It is a TV show.
Oh, you were saying watch the TV show The Expanse.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind. Cool. I was wrong then.
Yeah. Yerp.
There's also Gunstock.
All right.
You go stuck.
Guns are gay. All right, thanks, Steve.
Yep.
Guns exist. They just do.
Ugh, guns are gay. That's my new liberal anti-gun voice. Guns are just gay, guys. It feels rude. It feels bigoted in some way. We'll give a little bit of time, people. MAGA, you got time. You can get in now if you call right now. 336-543-2101, 336-543-2101. What was that person who just tried to call in asking about your channel idea? Luthien?
Oh, were you asking me? I don't know.
Yeah.
They didn't answer, and then they hung up and didn't call back.
What about the one that was like, talk to the guy with the ponytail?
No, I didn't see that one. To talk to the guy with I don't even have a ponytail.
I didn't see that one either.
Okay, I was asking because they were in my TikTok chat. Like, they were from TikTok at this point. I think they were just a troll because they were like, came back and they were like, I'm still trying to talk to the guy with the ponytail or the one with the blue hair, because my profile picture, I have blue hair. And it's like, next time try calling without hanging up the phone.
But also, there is neither a ponytailed or blue-haired individual on the show right now.
Yeah.
Spot the man bun. And by the way, before someone says it, it is called a man bun, asshole. We're reclaiming it, and it's fine. I hate when people are like, don't call it, it's just a bun. Don't call it a man bun.
Because the ponytail at least looks like this. I'm going to have it. It's out. That's why it's called a ponytail.
And if I choose to, I'm wearing guy liner. Eat my ass. It's ass flavored. I was telling them while you were screening that call that didn't answer, Luthien, that you're only sleeping with me because it's in your contract, that otherwise you wouldn't be. It's part of your job. Part of your job. You know, when you don't respond to that at all, it kind of makes it seem like I'm telling the truth.
I'm sorry, I didn't know I was muted.
Oh.
I was laughing.
It's your job.
It's my job.
I
Until
like the
the
term
immigrant takes it. I'm sorry.
Man bun as a trans mask person. Hell yeah. Mask bun wouldn't be bad though either. Got a little mask bun. I used to call it my rant bun. I'd put it in for special rants on my old show. I don't like showing the bun from this angle because it also shows off this fucking ski slope of a forehead I have. By the way, somebody said, no, Jimmy, it's a 5 head because it takes you 5 fingers. No, it doesn't. It actually still is only 4 fingers. So apparently they think that forehead refers to the number 4 as in fingers. It's only 4 fingers to my hairline. So that part isn't even true. I just have a basketball fucking shaped head. Okay. It's the right length, but it appears lengthened by the curvature. Motherfuckers, it's so curved. I only want flat earth fans because I might be able to fool them into thinking this is not curved. Okay. Jesus fucking Christ, this thing. And the brow prominent, my God, I've given myself forehead dysmorphia. It's fucking crazy. Anyway, yes, Matt Dillahunty is the host with the ponytail. Correct. Who are we trying to get to call in? Someone said James. Someone in chat called James.
Somebody.
James Miller in chat. 336-543-2101. You said MAGA 2028. I would like to know what platform you think MAGA is running on and why you support it for 2028. Easy questions. I'll listen. I'll hear you out. Why would you vote MAGA in 2028? And who do you intend to vote for in the primary? You know, J.D. Vance will be running. I would guess that Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley will throw themselves back in the ring. My guess is you'll probably see, let's see, who else do you think from the right is going to run? I don't know.
God. And
Marco
Rubio
Miller certainly doesn't have the audacity. Oh, yeah, Rubio's on.
Rubio is going to run. Stephen Miller, I don't think he'll touch that. You know,
I think he's going to try to VP for either Rubio or J.D. Vance. But
I actually don't think he wants to be VP. I think he likes running in the background. I think
he's such a fascist. I think one day I think he just knows he has to wait for Trump to die, but he's looking to, from his balcony in Berlin, tell the people, you know what I mean?
I'm expecting a comeback. That could be a thing, but I'm expecting a comeback of Nikki Haley. I don't think Vivek Ramaswamy is going to dare to try to run for president again after he got fucking ridiculed. Yeah, he got ridiculed in Ohio.
Right after getting ousted from Doge.
Yeah, that was insane.
Big Balls made it all the way through Doge's fucking... The guy called Big Balls never got fired until Doge just basically went out of business. Big Balls made it, but Vivek did not. In fairness, guys, and I don't support this. For the record, this is not my values, this is theirs. A guy named Vivek Ramaswamy was never going to have that much institutional power under MAGA and under conservatives.
Oh no, like not with how everything went to shit.
Donald Trump still keeps trying to order his name as a sandwich. You know, I'm thinking maybe a nice soup, perhaps some Ramaswamy, something like that.
Shit, that's funny.
I kind of made a racist joke, but by putting it with Trump's voice there, it's him racist, not me, right? I'm realizing that joke is probably fucked up.
That was probably messed up, yeah.
Yeah. It was wrong of me, and I apologize to a number of communities, mostly everybody who's watching.
Sorry, guys. I mean, if y'all want this to stop, all it takes is be a call. A MAGA, put on your bootstraps. Let's fucking go.
Is James calling? James, you calling? You said MAGA 2028? James calling?
He ain't gonna call. These people are pussies. I was gonna say something else for a second.
You're allowed to say pussies though, and I like that. That's nice.
Yeah, like a little chuds.
Sometimes I still say it every now and then, but
I mean, I said it like 6 times on the live with Jovan, calling someone a pussy ass bitch. So, gosh. So talking about people that are, do you think Tulsi Gabbard would dare run?
Ooh, as a conservative too, she's been pretty. I think she probably will because she's never read the room. Yeah. But man, this has been a pretty embarrassing fucking like. My girl has videos of her saying we can't elect Trump because if a vote for Donald Trump would be a vote for war with Iran. My girl ran on those fucking videos of all, and then motherfucker, if she's not, the NDI telling Trump there is no Iran threat.
Yeah.
And Trump twice goes, fuck you. And this last time sends her off to do some bullshit. What state did he send her to? Like Florida or some shit to look over the ICE shit? To Georgia. Oh, to look over the voter shit. The ballot shit. That's what it is, yeah. All while I just need her out of the room. We're going to be doing Iran, and she is not going to like that. And I am still trying to get it in, but she is holding back. She is preventing. And I thought, wow, you have gray in your hair. I already would not usually be interested, but goddamn, you look like Rogue.
I think
I'm Magneto.
Oh, gosh. The best part of her committee hearing was...
Except I respect Magneto.
Yeah, no, like, that's the shit. The best part of her committee hearing is when they asked her, like, so why were you in Georgia? Well, the president wanted me there. I thought you just said that the president didn't know about the warrant being served. So why are you wanted there? And she just like didn't have an answer. I'm not going to go into details of my conversation with the president.
Uh-oh, I poopied.
Like, it's like probably because that's how Kristi Noem got fired. Kristi Noem, I think, will run. Because she's that stupid.
Oh, no. Yeah, Krusty. Old Krusty? Old Krusty's going.
She's dumb enough. She's going to run. God, it wouldn't surprise me if fucking Mark Wayne runs too since he's now DHS secretary. I think that you'll see most of the men from this administration are going to try and run, whether they make it the full 4 years or only work there for 6 months.
I got Jay Lateef in chat who says, impression getting better, Jimmy Snow, but it still sucks. It is the weirdest thing because Jovan is a man of no small opinions. Have you ever noticed that? Jovan, everything's either great or terrible. There's no in between. And even Jovan, when I do it, will be like, he always says, I hate that the impression is so good. And if it wasn't, like, I don't know that I believed it was that good until Jovan said it, because I was like, Jovan does not want to give me props for anything. Jovan and I just bully each other relentlessly. It's how you know it's true love. And it's like, I'm sorry. Like, I probably was on your side, Lateef. Now, I'll tell you, that's my improv one. If I know I'm going to be doing the impression a while, I have vocal warm-ups for doing Donald Trump. And the first thing is I Mongolian throat sing. I literally have to fry my voice because Donald Trump, he used to be up here. You know, when I come home, if there's not food on the table, I absolutely hit the roof. I hit the roof. I don't like it. That's like from a real interview. That's what he used to sound like, but he's gotten old and his voice is fried. So I will literally go,
sure.
for like 2 minutes. And it fries your voice. And so it makes it so you can come down here and it sounds, you know, we were going to go into Iran and they said, no, sir, if you do that. But I said, frankly, I trust myself. I'm always the last person that I consult with. And at the end of the day, it could be a feeling. It could be, that's how he's gone from up here to down here. And frankly, he is clearly on death's door, but nobody is going to tell me. No one's going to tell me directly, not to my face, that I look like shit and I smell like shit. But frankly, I smell like shit because I shit myself. So frankly, that is not even that important. Not relevant. Would we like that? He also has his weird things where he'll be like during January 6th, he was like, and then we're going to march down to the Capitol. He'll just randomly yell one word. Like, we're going to be marching down to the Capitol. Like it was found on the no whammy board. We got the Capitol up here, frankly.
Duh. It was found on the no whammy board.
I appreciate the props, Latif, but it was very much like a backhanded prop. It was like, hey, you know, your hair looks good for a balding guy today. I'm just saying. That's what it was. Excuse me.
The ad's definitely something. Oh gosh. Like again, I just mock Trump when I do his. Like, did you see his post about Tallarico?
No. What's his nickname?
Oh my God,
for him? Does he have one yet?
Yeah. Oh no, I don't think he has one
for the record
yet.
Donald, look, we don't get along, but I'll give you the one. It'd be really funny if you started calling him James Topo Chico. Okay?
Topo Chico.
That's just funny. He's as exciting as carbonated water. Or he's as bland as carbonate. You know, I call him that because he's very bland. James Topo Chico down in Texas. And it's funny because it's Texas and we're like a heavily Mexican state. Topo Chico is a Mexican drink. I think it sounds like one, but it might not be. Taco Bell's Mexican food, technically, kind of. I'm just saying that's a fucking hilarious, mean nickname with a slight tinge of racism, and that should be your deal. So, Donald, you can send me $20 or something for it. You're welcome. The funniest name for James Tallarico is James Topo Chico.
I mean, he's already got Newscomb, and he thinks that's like the best insult ever.
And also, he didn't invent it. I get so annoyed with him when he literally is using, like, people were calling him Gavin Newsom since before I knew Trump existed. Bro, do you know, okay, you remember Kimberly Guilfoyle?
No, who's that?
He was the one who used to be dating Donald Jr., the best is yet to come. That lady from the arts. You remember her? She used to be with, I think they were engaged. They broke up. Now she's like an ambassador somewhere. Do you know Gavin Newsom married her?
Yeah.
That is Gavin Newsom's ex-wife before she became like a Fox News regular and all that shit.
That's disturbing.
Isn't that fucking crazy? She's like fucking nuts.
Okay. I'm gonna read
here's
this.
That post. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna read it. It's and I'm gonna read it like, guys. I'm gonna give you pauses for every comma. I'm going to try to emphasize, and this is hard for me because autism. I'm gonna try to emphasize all caps. So I'm reading this as Donald Trump wrote it, and sorry, I'm not doing my Trump voice. I do suck at that. I'll try, but I'll just laugh. No, I'm not gonna try. The Democrat running in Texas, James Tallarico, turns out to be a fraud. It showed after the election when he beat low IQ candidate Jasmine Crockett. No relation to Davy Crockett.
What the fuck? He included no relation to Davy Crockett because I only do word associations. That's why I keep talking about insane asylums and incursions in the Middle East. Excursions. He keeps calling it an excursion. We're going to fucking scout. We're going to drama camp in Iran today, dude.
Yep.
Drama camp Tehran. Go on. Sorry.
Low IQ candidate Jasmine Crockett. No relation to Davy Crockett. He's got 6 genders. insults to Jesus, only vegan food, was wearing a mask in 2023 and 2024, and is weak, ineffective guy who we allowed to win prior to releasing the avalanche of information we had on him, because as bad as Crockett was as a candidate, this guy is worse. I believe that any human being running against him, sick, incompetent, close to death, or even a child, would win. He may be the worst candidate I have ever seen, other than, of course, Gavin Newsom, who admitted that he suffers from mental incapacity, is unable to read a speech, and is dumb but in saying the dumb comment, referred to his audience, and therefore became, in the eyes of African Americans, a total racist, which is probably true. Gavin admits that he's low IQ individual, which typically is not good for winning the presidency. His interview may have been the worst ever given by a professional politician. I believe it takes him out of the race. Kamala is back.
It's pretty good.
It's
pretty good. You know,
it's so dumb.
One little point here. I believe he's the worst candidate I've ever seen other than Gavin Newsom. Gavin Newsom won his election. Wouldn't the worst candidates always be the ones who lose?
I would think so.
Gavin's, not only did he win that, he also won his map redistricting thing. That was his whole deal. So like, I hope that James Topo Chico only does as good as Gavin Newsom did and win his elections. Like, Jesus Christ. I think 16% of you in chat are fucking liars.
What they say.
So I have a poll up, and we've got a few more minutes. There's still time if a MAGA caller wants to call in. 336-543-2101. We'll talk to you. It's up there, 336-543-2101. I asked, James Topo Chico would be funny but slightly racist. That's probably what I would have voted for. And lazy or bad. And 48% said funny but slightly racist. 36% said funny. The funny thing is, if I know how this goes right, the 48% are probably white people. The 35% are probably Latina people saying like, no, actually just kind of funny. And then the lazy or bad, they're just monsters.
Monsters.
The 20% of you voting lazy or bad are why Donald Trump won. Just so you know. Just so you know. Actually, they might just also be MAGA. You guys are liars.
If they didn't like that.
James Topo Chico is funny. It might be racist. I give you that. But it's funny. And it's only slightly racist. The dude is visibly white. I assume with Tallarico, he has, I assume he's got some kind of Latin family, but he's white passing, right?
Yes.
He gets the privileges of white appearance at the very least in America. He's pulled over less during the day than his people of color, family, and friends. Topo Chico is fucking hilarious. Yes, you do, Sketch and Build. You think it's fucking hilarious. I know you do. James Topo Chico. Again, you have to add in there that the reason is because he's only as exciting as carbonated water. Like, that's pretty fucking funny. Seltzer is bland, guys. It is. And so to be like, you are the Topo Chico of candidates and we prefer Pepsi, that would be a really fucking funny thing to do. And if you're going to do the name calling, make it clever. Look, guys, I love a pun. There's a reason why this show's name is a pun. It's a double pun.
That's true.
It's two puns. Calling it now, like I'm calling it now, or you can call us now. And then the abbreviation is literally the word sin. You guys are sinners if you like it here. If you like the show, CIN, sinners. You're a bunch of sinners. We have Skep Talk. That show's a pun. The Transatlantic Call-In Show. That name's a pun. I like the pun work. I like it. And James Topo Chico is better than every single dumb, Crooked Hillary. Crooked Hillary was a dumb one. What are his other ones? Low energy Jeb Bush with all that low energy.
There's also gosh dang it, I just lost it. Oh, Marjorie Brown, like Marjorie Taylor Brown.
Someone called it white guy humor. I bet I could make non-white people laugh with that joke. I feel certain. And I'm going to try. Nobody spoil it. I'm going to use it on Javon, and I'm going to call Cat Williams lately. Just kidding. I think Cat Williams is a fucking hack. So that guy, I fucking, God, I can't stand Cat Williams humor. And as a person, just a piece of shit person. Anyway, but I think he'd think it was funny, but that wouldn't be a point in my column. I'll find some not white people to make laugh with it.
Not white.
They said it was white people humor.
I mean, we're not great at that, if I'm being honest. So.
Evan's saying if you have to explain why it's funny, well, that's an old rule. There is now a humor in explaining things, why things are funny. And there are funny ways to explain why they're funny. Did I do it here? Almost certainly not. But technically, I would say Tim Robinson is the ultimate, like, explaining why things are funny guy in a way that is then independently funny. Anyway.
I'm also just bad with jokes, right? So I got asked yesterday. Was it yesterday? I think so. Where it's like, why are you coming with the dad jokes? And I'm like, because they're the only jokes that I understand.
Eric, are you okay? We've gotten some super chats from Eric. And the first one was, I love you guys. Then it was, I love you, Ari and Jimmy. And then the third one just came, inject yourself with bleach. And now a blank one.
Now just a thumbs
Should
up.
we
Like,
inject ourselves with bleach? Like, what? Who are you asking? All right, guys, we're probably giving up on calls. If you want to send some super chats, we'll read out some super chats. It'd be really great anyway, because can somebody please send... Brian is getting close to Andrew status for me. Can somebody pay a Brian tax for me? Would you mind throwing $5 or $10, literally just like to be like, thank you for taking the Brian call. I didn't enjoy it either. Everyone who hated the Brian call and has an extra $5, would you send $5? Support the show. Joshua Everett said, not Jimmy mispronouncing articulately. Yeah, I was there. I know.
Is that? Oh.
What?
I missed that.
I had to say it twice because I tried to say it too fast. Articulately is hard to say fast. So I was going, well, articulately, and I was like, articulately. I slowed it down. But it happens. And it's ironic. It's ironic. It's an ironic thing to do.
I don't know if it's ironic. It just happens. Like, even I struggle with my words sometimes. That's why, like, I don't necessarily hold it against someone like Trump when he does it. It's just when he's like acetaminophen and he cut himself off. And then he's like, okay, how do you say that?
Yeah.
And then still messes it up.
Let's start taking I'm going to start a tally, guys. $5 to vote. Who was the worst call, Brian or Martin? Brian was the one who doesn't know how words work. He was against abortion.
Oof.
Martin was
really
the one who was like, God exists because the number is 0. Thank you, Perry Forum says, Brian was terrible, so a dog walks into a tavern, LOL, and says, I can't see anything. I'll have this one.
Oof.
Have you heard this joke, Ari?
No.
I'd like to see if you can, I'd like to see if you get it. Okay, hang on.
Okay.
Let me find the actual wording.
Okay.
Okay. A dog walks into a bar and says, I can't see a thing. I'll open this one.
It physically walked into a bar?
No.
I don't know what it's opening. No?
Oh, I don't think so. So here's the funny thing about it. No one knows what that joke means. But here, it is a joke. It is, in fact, the oldest walks into a bar joke ever written. And it was written by the Sumerians. It was written in Sumerian, like 4,000 years ago. And we know it was a joke, but we don't know why it was funny. So it was almost certainly culturally relevant, the way we might say, I wouldn't. But someone today might say skibbity, and somebody 2,000 years from now would be like, the fuck is skibbity?
Skibbity.
Though that one's not as good of an example because skibbity is a unique word. Whereas we understand all of the words in that joke. We don't get why they're funny. So it's almost certainly a humor that was relevant to that day. And no one knows exactly what the joke means. No one. Anyway, Brian, that's one vote for Brian, even though we hadn't really started it yet. Send $5 to tell us if Brian or Martin was the worst call, because we need it. We need the money to run the show. The show is not going to do very good numbers, guys. So
I was just confused, like why Brian kept going. All right, now Ari or whatever her name is. Can you say Massachusetts? Like what?
Can you say Massachusetts?
Yeah.
Is that what he said?
Yeah. He kept saying it too, and it's like, I don't know. Massachusetts, like, bruh.
Well, also a reminder, guys, when you do think about sending super chats, our hosts and our producers are all paid on profit share. So you're literally paying bills. I'm just saying, guys. So if you want to start that vote, you want to send those super chats, we appreciate it. It's late on a Thursday night, and we've run out of potential. Let's be honest.
And we'll say this, guys, if you guys like, I want to stop working a regular job eventually, or just anytime soon. But I can't do that unless I have income coming in.
Yeah.
So if you
two things. One,
wanted to see more of me,
send more super chats, and two, pressure Ari into doing more shows on this channel. Those would be the two things. Duskframe says, hear me out. Being bi is gayer than being gay, because if you're bi, any gay behavior you do is 100% optional. That's true.
Interesting.
That's true. That's true. Also, I would like to posit being into girls, technically, guys, in a small way, in a certain way, but kind of for real, I find guys who are straight only for very feminine girls to be kind of gayer than gay guys who are into masculine men. Because think about it. You're a man and you're like this, well, I like blah, 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 blah. But what do I want to like come home and lay? I want to lay next to perfume and somebody flowery with their long flowy hair, somebody skinny and dainty who chuckles like, like that's what they're into. Meanwhile, gay guys who are into masculine men, they're like, I want a dude to split me in half like a coconut. I want a lumberjack I want to experience masculinity at every angle of my life. I never want to be out of it. It's kind of gay to be into girls, guys. If you think about it, it's pretty gay to be into ladies.
I think that's why fucking Andrew Tate put up there last year. It was like September last year, where he was like, if you are in a monogamous relationship in 2025, you're gay.
Okay,
with the girl. He said specifically with the girl. Like if you are a man in a monogamous relationship with the girl, you're gay.
He would have said that as a problem. I'm saying it as a celebration.
Yeah, he don't see that though.
I know. Congratulations. By the way, he's into lots of girls, so he's super gay.
Super gay.
Dude, Andrew Tate, all like I want a girl here, a girl there. Everywhere I look, I just want to see representations of femininity. Fucking gay. You're gay.
True.
You're super gay, Andrew Tate. F's in chat for Andrew Tate is super gay, and at least one super chat about how gay Andrew Tate is. Okay, let's see. Zeno Goys says, I hated the Brian call. The beginning comparing a woman's right to choose for themselves akin to slavery nearly took me out. Love you, the line. Yeah, I didn't even let him go down that stupid fucking...
It was so dumb.
...line of questioning. Oh, Liz, here's Timmer saying, Jimmy stealing from It's Always Sunny. No, I'm stealing from something even more obscure that maybe you're remembering, but I already had these feelings. These aren't the guys who originated the joke. Glenn Howerton was in a movie you should not watch. It does not last the test of time. He probably apologizes for it, but it was called Coffee Town, USA. I think it was either Coffee Town or Coffee Town, USA. And there's a rant that a guy gives that's essentially that. But he, in no way... this is one of those jokes. A lot of people make the same jokes or different versions of the same jokes. And that's one that joke has been reinvented by 9,000 people. My favorite joke I ever wrote, I've now heard from other people in different versions. But my favorite joke, Ari, accuse me of being pro-abortion.
Why are you pro-abortion, you dum-dum?
I'm tired of hearing I'm pro-abortion. It's a hobby. That's my favorite joke I ever wrote. It's a pretty good one. It's pretty good. You can let yourself have it. It's funny. It's good. It's good. She's pretending because I pay her to be here.
It's a hobby.
I'm tired of hearing I'm pro-abortion. It's just a hobby. Atheist Mechanic says, Brian was Andrew levels of shite. Can we put him on the ban list as well? Also, never take Andrew calls again, please. So here's the new ban list rule, with the exception of people who scream slurs. I understand an Andrew call got taken Monday night. I didn't know about that. I would have told him the same thing I've been telling people. We'll take those calls for enough money, because we have big plans for this year and we need money to do them. We need money for the new channels and the new events and the new things, and we need money. We need money. Not for me. I'm not trying to get money to have more house. Okay. I'm not trying to have money for more stuff. I do like stuff. There's some stuff I like. I just tried these for the first time. I might even do a video about them. These aren't VR glasses. They're called the X Real glasses. They're fucking awesome. I love VR. This is something else, and I can't believe I put off trying them for so long, because they're actually dope. Anyway,
Interesting.
Yeah. It's basically, they're glasses you can see through, but then there's projectors that come down, so you can plug it into anything. So I like to plug it into my handheld, like it's basically a Steam Deck, just a different off-brand.
Yeah.
And then you can play it on a giant 146-inch screen. You can put your phone in there. You can connect it to a laptop, whatever you want. And it's better than VR if you're trying to do other things outside of VR at the same time. So if I put on a VR headset I like to stream games from my computer to my VR headset.
Mm-hmm.
The pass-through makes anything else happening around me look kind of like shit. And so I like to do that when I'm like in bed or on the couch with my girlfriend and we're watching TV. And so I can see the TV in the pass-through, but it's a TV through a camera through a screen. Whereas this, I can see just by, if I lean back and I just look down, I'm just looking at the TV. It's dope. It's the shit. Anyway, they're very cool.
That sounds interesting.
It's not really AR because it can't really do anything besides the extra display. There are models of it. So the Air model is the new cheap one that I think is dope. Cheaper one. They're not cheap, I wouldn't call them, but they're very, very cool. They're the only like AR thing in the models above is you can anchor it. So you can anchor it in a place in space where it's like I put it there, and then when I move away or whatever, it's not there. And then when I look back up, it's there. There are things with it that are annoying, like it has a narrow field of view, so you can fit your screen in it, but if you're doing the stuck way, it's very easy to move your head just a little bit and be cutting off the edge of your screen. Even though it's your periphery, you can still see it outside of it in your periphery. That shit's cool. It's cool. Anyway.
I think the peripheral vision would distract the ever-living daylights out of me.
Yeah, it could be. Well, periphery is good for you and bad for you in some way in those regards, but
yeah.
Dude, you just gotta come visit sometimes. I have so much cool toys. You could try out a bunch of like production gear for things you might want on your own production end. And then my personal hobby that I'm most interested in, that I've invested in instead of having children, is VR. So I try to get all and people will be like, wow, that's wasteful, blah, 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 blah. But I don't really. That's like the one I arguably waste money on. I feel like everybody has that hobby. Everything else that comes close is a business expense of some kind. Like literally production gear. If a thing that seems like is going to be good for our people, like when Elgato releases a new camera, I get it. I learn how to use it and figure out who I need to send it to, who works here, that kind of shit. Anyway, God, I really fucking love VR. Anyway,
VR, yeah.
It's cool. You got to come visit sometime, hang out. We'll set up the apartment for you and try out the shit. Anyway, okay. Let's read these things because
we'll read through these. Yeah.
Yeah. You want to leave.
And then I got to go to bed. But I mean, VR sounds interesting. Also technology.
By the way, Joshua is undefeated right now. We just got another vote Brian rather. Joshua said Brian was way worse. Joshua is like the fourth vote. Martin hasn't gotten anybody. Green Man Dave said, next, the Spookster said, can't afford more than this, but Brian sucked. I'll still give it the vote. Thanks, next. Green Man Dave says, 2 nuns in a bathtub. One says, where's the soap? The other says, sure does. This is better not in text. Where's the soap? Get it.
Two nuns in a bathtub. One says, "Where's the soap?"
Where's? I think where is wouldn't work. Where's the soap?
So like wearing.
Right. That's the play on word. Where's the soap? And then sure does.
Sure does. Oh gosh, that's funny. Okay, got it. We walked me through that. Thank y'all.
Sketch and Build wanting to be back in my good graces for lying about saying that the Topo Chico joke wasn't funny. We're sent $20. I'm kidding, Sketch. You're allowed to not think that. I just think you were lying. Sketch says, I missed Brian and have had enough Andrew to last me a lifetime, but more Ari for sure.
Hey,
I don't know what Brian's price will be, but it'll be, we're only like 6 calls deep with him. So I'd probably start at the like $50 to $100 mark. I won't take an Andrew call now for less than $200. A super chat has to come in telling me to take him. And last time we did that, 10 minutes later, the same super chatter sent $100 asking if he could take it back. So it was good.
Did you see the one with Jovan and I and Andrew?
No. Jesus,
oh gosh.
You guys took one. Did you guys get paid to do it?
Yes.
Okay. Good.
Because we solicited as pay us to just insult Andrew. So then we did, and we got him to agree that he thinks Skyliner is okay.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. So it was
God's
funny.
Sinner says, don't think I will ever be able to get my dad to call as I am no longer allowed to use the big TV. So here's for getting your hopes up if I did. P.S. Brian was worse from Caracal. Yeah, Brian is undefeated right now. Kara, I'm curious, did you show him my call out? Did you show him my, the video where I told him to call? I can't remember his name, but I hope you did. I just want to know what happened if you did. Xenogoys says, more mermaid representation would be appreciated, specifically of the Ari variety. Please, thank you, and good night. Yeah, I'll talk less next time, guys, probably. I'm sorry. I talk too much.
No, it's actually, it's also me, too, because I have this issue where I just, I'm not always comfortable interjecting with somebody that I enjoy conversing with. So when it's somebody that I don't give a fuck, I will usually sit back and wait. Or if it's something that, if my brain goes on a tangent and I'm excitable in that moment, then I'm going to say it right then, and I will interrupt conversations. So.
Good. Yeah. I just have that issue of I could do shows solo, and I have from time to time, and there's always that 10 to 15% of time where it's oof, that 10 to 15% of this show was worse because there wasn't a second person there. But I need to adjust that. Just because that's the only deficit I have doesn't mean I should only offer my guest the time to, it's nicer to go beyond than just the 10, 15.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know, guys. I know. I mean, some of you will mention in comments and you'll be super dicks about it. So you guys, I don't care about that.
And then for the rest of your audience, I'll have to send it to you just the clip itself if you wanted to watch it. But if you guys haven't seen my placenta video, go watch it. It's not an actual placenta. It is not an actual placenta. My TikTok is just blowing up about placenta, and I'm just listen, guys, it's a whole thing. It was hilarious.
Luthian's told me there's a pretty good clip coming, and I assume we're going to do it as a short of when the guy on Sunday said he's not going to hold it against Trump that he's a pedophile because essentially his grandpa was. Apparently, we simultaneously make a pretty good face.
I read that earlier while I was waiting for the link. I was just oh, that's going to be fun.
Yeah. Oh, I haven't seen it yet. I don't know what my face did.
I'm also going to clip every time you yelled "you're gay" and put it into a short.
Every time I yelled "you're gay"?
You're gay.
Make sure that you put the Andrew Tate being gay part of that. God, Andrew Tate's so fucking gay.
Oh, please do my reading of Donald Trump's rant.
Yeah.
That was horrible.
That was James Topo Chico.
Has 6 genders, guys. Just so you know, Donald Trump acknowledges. Yeah, no, just so you guys remember, Donald Trump wrote an executive order. He's now against his own executive order because he acknowledges that there are 6 genders.
Hell yeah. By the way, not that I expect him to have his ableism in check, but Donald Trump suggesting that dyslexia equals low IQ, not exactly.
And a mental incapacity.
Right. Yeah, that's not what that is, guys. No. So kind of an issue there. All right, well, that's the show. And by the way, did you actually know the last 6 minutes, once again, you didn't pick up on it. This was all scripted. That was our outro song.
Woohoo!
Yeah, that one was in the chord of A minor. Nope, not going to use that joke, not ever since Kendrick. That was in the chord of F minor.
F minor.
There we go. There we go.
FDJT.
Key of F minor. A sketch says Topo Chico wasn't funny. Taco Cheapo was right there. And probably racist. Go fuck yourself, Jimmy. I argue that a white dude being named for a seltzer is funnier.
I would agree.
Sketch, you're going to have to call in. We're going to have to formally debate this. All right. See you, everybody.
Bye.